hold on. I gotta refresh my memory. Give me a second. What was the other one? What was the other one called? Not. Shit, hold on. I gotta find this one. Oh, that's right. Yeah, here we go.
Some people call me the space cowboy.
There we go.
No, you don't want nada, nada. There's 6 gunning this, brother running this. Buffalo, 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 no, 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 no. Any damsel that's in distress, be out of this stress when she meet Jim dress. Roughneck, so go check the roughneck. So go watch your step, or flex and get a hole in your dress. Swallow your buffalo, don't let your neck react. You don't wanna see my hand where my hand be at. With James dress from the start of this, running the game. Artemis, taming the West. So remember the James.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play too much of it because inevitably the whole fucking stream's gonna get copyright stricken. And I'm gonna have to go back and clip shit out. But we had our little fill of Neil Cicierega to get us going. We had a little taste, a little morsel of Neil to get us going. $5 postkinesis. Remember, Chuddies, we agree. Amen. Remember, if you're here, you automatically agree with everything I say. Don't forget that. If you're a viewer of my stream, you automatically condone every single thing I say or do. Don't forget. We agree. Hashtag we agree. Oh, shit. And also $5 from Owen R. This protest is fact-checked by Real Badlands Mercenaries. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Good lord. So, man, lot of excitement going on past couple of days. A lot of excitement going on past couple of days. Shit, I guess it's over. I mean, that's kind of it. We had one day. We had our one day. Everyone dropped their videos on day one, and that's it. Pack it up. We go home. Valve didn't give us a tweet. Therefore, it was a failure. Right? That's how it works, right? That's at least what people are telling me. You know, clearly we throw shit at the wall for a day, and then nothing happens, and everyone just gives up and goes home. Obviously not. That's not how this works. It's not just a one-day thing, and I think people fail to realize that. I think people fail to realize that if you want to fight for some change in TF2, it can't be a one-day thing. It needs to be a consistent thing, and I suspect that a vast majority of people are not willing to partake in that. If people want Valve to do something, it needs to keep going. That's just a fact. It can't be a one-day flash in the pan type of deal. And more people need to have that mentality. Plain and simple. No, yeah, I saw the GitHub thing. That was pretty funny. For those unaware, they organized a post onto GitHub outlining a lot of the problems the game is facing right now, including but not limited to what was going on with bots and cheaters. And within 9 minutes of that thread being uploaded, or no, sorry, within 4 minutes of the thread being uploaded, it was closed by the guy who works for Valve for free. And then they locked the thread because it was getting spammed with comments from cheaters. I found that kind of funny. Like, goddamn, it was marked as not being worked on, and then all the traffic was being redirected to, I think, a 4-year-old thread, which contained far less useful information and guidance on just what the fuck needs to be done. Yeah, the fucking GitHub Janny got mad, which I found kind of funny. Same time next year, yeah. You know, yeah, Valve has the GitHub for people to post things. No, yeah, he does it for free. The guy who moderates the Valve GitHub does it for free. He's not actually a Valve employee. How likely do you think removing casual and reverting back to quick play would it fix TF2? I think it would drastically reduce the bot problem because bots joining into lobbies wouldn't be an automated process. That would significantly reduce the issue, but there would still be cheaters and bots. It wouldn't stop them entirely. The issue is we just need a functioning anti-cheat. Like, that's the only solution. Or just something. Something that mildly resembles a functioning anti-cheat. Tip your dedication, please have someone automate that profile gathering 5 days Python. I mean, and see, I could have spent the time and like wrote a script to do the profile gathering, but it would have taken me more than 5 days to get it set up. So I just did it manually the first time around. If I want to do more, then yeah, I'll probably write something in Python. Quickplay will completely fix the bot problem because community servers have moderators. You fail to realize that Quickplay puts people in Valve servers as well. Quickplay, so I think many people fail to realize this, because I think a lot of people who are engaging with TF2 weren't here from day one. When TF2 launched, there were no Valve servers. There were only player-operated servers. Valve servers weren't a thing until 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. And Quickplay only put people inside of community servers. And then Valve stepped in and realized that they need to kind of normalize the player experience, because people were getting tossed into, you know, they were getting tossed into servers with a bunch of custom content, they were getting tossed into servers with a bunch of downloads, and a lot of people weren't liking that. They just wanted to play normal TF2, so then they created their own servers. And that was kind of like the first blow. That was like the first blow to community servers way back in the day, where a lot of the traffic was being redirected over to Valve servers. It's kind of a good and bad thing, because if you just want to play strictly vanilla TF2, it made it a lot easier. And then if you wanted to go for a more customized experience, you can go into community servers. And at least back then, the culture around TF2 allowed for people to still kind of be encouraged to interact with each other and have fun. You know, use the in-game communication features and be laid back and have fun with it, not take the game too seriously. You know, it still had remnants of the community server culture. It wasn't entirely there, but it was still somewhat there. But then, when Valve rolled out matchmaking, it just completely stripped that away from the Valve server experience, and it's just an overall objectively worse version of what the game ever was, and it should be reverted immediately. It shocks me that they never did. Because it's just unanimously hated. It's unanimously hated or tolerated. No one enjoys no one enjoys casual. No one likes casual. Everyone agrees it sucks. Like that, like, the one universal thing across the board, at least at this stage, that everyone can agree on, two things: Valve needs to get off their ass and do something, and casual sucks dick. Like, those are the two focal points that the entire TF2 sphere nowadays can agree on. Pretty crazy. I think Tyler McVicker nailed it with his perspective on the TF2 issue. Valve knows the issue, they just don't want to mess with it because with no dev power. That's no excuse though. Like, that is the reason why they're not doing anything, because they're currently, I think they have like 400 employees and they're quote unquote stretched too thin. Let me go to my fucking... Hello? There I am. So, that is the main problem, right? They just don't have the manpower to set people onto it. They would have to hire people. But that's like a no-brainer. Oh my god, the company has to hire people to do the work that needs to be done? Oh god! The way Tyler wrote it, it was a very stupid excuse. Like, it's like he's kind of like giving excuses to Valve. It's not an excuse. Just hire people to do the work. You have the money, pay a few people. I don't get it. It's very stupid. And also, he said, what was that fucking tweet Tyler said? I have to pull it up now. Give me a second. I have to look at it verbatim, otherwise I'm gonna get screamed at and barked at for not saying it directly. Hold on. It was posted here. Here we go. And let me, or actually open an incognito window this time and put it there. Yeah, so he says, Valve doesn't care about your money. Steam will continue their infinite money glitch. Valve doesn't care about the deep fans' opinion in general. The public still loves them. Valve does care about bad mainstream press. This is all bullshit. Like, Valve... So, here's the thing. If Valve didn't give a fuck about the money from Team Fortress 2, or the indirect money they earned from Team Fortress 2, they would have shut this shit down a long time ago. So that's already completely false. I find that stupid. Valve doesn't care about the deep fans. So, and this also contradicts himself. Valve doesn't care about fans' opinions, but they care about bad mainstream press. I don't understand that. When money isn't an object, and the rest he's somewhat right on. Like, obviously, you know, they just don't want to hire the people to work on the job. They just need to hire people to fix the problem. And Tyler's done more damage to TF2 than bots. I mean, he's certainly done quite a fair share of damage to it. Also, this bullshit here, there's another rumor from Tyler that Valve had meetings about Save TF2 back in 2022, and people are fucking running with this. People are like, oh wow, Valve had a meeting? No! This is a rumor coming from Tyler bullshit McVicker, who notoriously has a history of being fucking wrong on like 99% of shit he throws out into the ether. He was right on like 2 things in the past. And for some reason people listen to this idiot? I don't get it. This is bullshit. Like there is no proof of this, that Valve had meetings about Save TF2 back in 2022. Why would you even put that out there? Ugh. Insane. No, yeah, and he was, and if I'm remembering correctly, back when Tyler did bullshit like streaming an earlier version of Half-Life Alyx VR and doing other things, he was brought into like a Zoom call with Valve employees, and they were basically scolding him like a child to like, hey, we understand you're a passionate fan, but you need to stop. You need to stop. Yeah, just don't understand why people take anything this guy has to say seriously. I really don't get it. So is the boycott happening or not? That I think fully needs to happen. I think so. Here's the thing, right? So obviously nothing has changed. Like nothing is gonna change after day 1, and I think people need to realize that. Like this, it's not gonna be some magical switch that Valve will flip and the game is miraculously fixed. That's not how this works. There needs to be consistent pressure on Valve until they fucking do something. And then whatever that is obviously gonna manifest some time from now. It's like Valve can't just automatically go, oh, whoopsie, we just haven't been pushing this magic button that nukes the bots, and then it's gonna suddenly be fixed. Like there's not gonna be any instant gratification here. And I think people need to realize that. Like you need to keep the pressure on. So like the goal with the petition, like what said is they're gonna print out all of the names and they're gonna physically deliver it to the Valve offices, which in and of itself is a decent statement. Like, here you go, we're gonna hand you this massive stack of papers, here are all the names. That's something, I guess, you know, and you could easily film that and like put that on YouTube. Like, here are all the fucking people who are tired of your bullshit, by the way. Here you go. You could throw that out into the ether, and that would make them look bad. Not to disagree with Tyler on the one point that we do very much need to make Valve look bad. That's like the one major good thing that's been happening with this so far, is that we've been making Valve look bad. Keep doing that. But there needs to be other angles to this aside from just airing out Valve's dirty laundry. Because here's my point of view on this. Here's my opinion, my perspective on this. Valve can just ignore everything happening on social media. Simple as. That's all Valve has to do. Like, it's not happening on their doorstep. All this shit on Twitter, on YouTube, on video game journal articles, they can just ignore it, and in a few days, by the end of the week, no one's going to be talking about this nearly as much as they're talking about it now. That's just a fact. Shit is so temporal and temporary on the internet that it's going to fall out of the relevancy cycle very, very quickly, unless people genuinely keep on Valve's ass. But it's going to be like an exponential decay away from the peak that it hit yesterday. That's what I think is going to happen. That's not what should happen. What needs to happen is constant pressure. But in my opinion, my music is too loud. In my opinion, what needs to happen, aside from making Valve look bad, is people need to be more willing to bring this shit to Valve's doorstep. Not literally, but they need to do the actions that are far more tangible to Valve. For one, leaving a negative review on Steam is putting that directly in their face on their platform, and more people need to be doing that. Review bomb the hell out of the fucking game. If one of their main flagship titles, because they have other games that they've made that were just massive flops, and those were massively review bombed, but people know their shit. It doesn't matter. You take a dump on the floor, it's a dump on the floor. But TF2 is not a dump on the floor. It's one of the most well-known and highly praised games ever made. And for it to go from overwhelmingly positive reviews for most of its lifespan to all of a sudden shifting to negative and then staying there, or worse, that's a pretty powerful message, and that's on Valve's doorstep. It's on their platform, and it is their game. That's a really strong message, and more people need to be doing that. Yeah, it can go even lower, and it needs to be happening with it, period. That's one thing you can do. And the second thing, it's weird because like the review bombing on Steam and also a financial boycott, these two things they've been mentioned, but they feel more like an afterthought. And in my opinion, these are the two most tangible things to Valve that you can do. Because you're directly affecting them in some way. Posting something directly on their platform and then depriving them of the fucking money that they're earning from the game. But here's the thing. I've said this countless times before. I said this on multiple streams and other times before, like a couple of weeks ago at this point, right? Very obviously, TF2 fucking, people realizing Valve's a corporate company. Oh my god, yeah, shocker, right? Yeah, they're a fucking corporation. They want your money. Deprive them of your money. Speak with your mouths and your wallets. It works. I don't understand why the wallet part isn't being as strongly emphasized. Save Ricochet, oh my god. Do you have any recommendations for TF2 market sites so I can avoid giving money to Valve? If you're using these third-party marketplaces, you're still actively engaging with the economy, and Valve is inadvertently profiting from that. So I would recommend avoiding third-party marketplaces as well. So, that's what I think you should do. What I mean by goal is how many people have to sign... How many people have to sign it for the signing process? They never clarified when the signature cutoff time is. They said they're gonna deliver these things at the end of the month. We don't know when the cutoff is. They haven't given us a cutoff. I assume if you haven't signed it already, I would recommend doing so. Bring me on so we can save TF2 together. Big B, I don't think I'm going to bring anyone on today because the people who've been asking me to come on my stream today, the ones who knew that I was going to stream, are going to be we're itching to be a little volatile, and I think I'm going to avoid bringing people on today. Maybe another time. And see, Zanju, you bring up what I want to talk about next. Very obviously, the money that Valve earns from TF2 is very small, pennies, compared to what Steam earns them, compared to what Counter-Strike earns them, and what have you, right? That $10 to $15 million a year doesn't mean that much to Valve, but profit is still profit. So one line of logic is, why would the corporation just suddenly be willing to take on a $10 to $15 million deficit? Why would they just be suddenly willing to incur this loss by flipping a switch and turning off the game? That's totally illogical and nonsense when it comes from a money-making standpoint. It's just printing them millions a year. They don't even have to work on it. They just have to take content other people make for them off the workshop, copy and paste it over into the game 3 times a year, and the game fucking prints them 15 million, or 10 to 15 million. So, them shutting off the game is utter bullshit. They obviously care about the money. But not the money directly. More so the impact it would have on their other games. And the stability of their other games' markets if TF2 were to suddenly shut down. And this is where I think people need to strike them where it hurts. I think we need to sow as much unrest as possible inside of the economy of TF2. Make it immensely unstable and show that we're unsatisfied by not giving them our fucking money. Because that will show their other titles, the TF2 economy is in turmoil. They're not satisfied. You're hurting the stability of this market. That could potentially have ripple effects on their other games. And that's why Valve won't immediately shut down TF2. Because if they shut down the microeconomy that fathered all microeconomies, how is that going to reflect on the Counter-Strike market? How is that going to reflect on on the Dota market and what have you? All these items that just exist on a server you don't actually own. And poof, they could go away at any time. That wouldn't look very good on them, to just shut down TF2, so that's not going to happen. So what I think needs to be done is to show that, we can make this market unstable, and we can hit them where it hurts. and show our dissatisfaction by just not giving them our fucking money. It's really not that hard. Do you think it's feasible to garner enough people to put significant financial pressure on Valve from a realistic standpoint? Realistically, all of the people you see talking about TF2 right now, all the hubbub on social media, and a vast majority of the signatures come from people that don't regularly engage with TF2 and don't regularly spend money on TF2. What you're looking at is a very small vocal microcosm of all the actual people that play the game and interact with the game and spend money on the game. Realistically, are we genuinely going to be able to get a significant amount of people to stop spending money on TF2? No, I don't think that's going to happen. But that is what needs to happen. And hopefully, what I hope that they were going to do this time around is like have enough people just saying, don't give Valve your fucking money. And, you know, because you have YouTubers saying it, then maybe everyone else will say it, or everyone else will do it and get the idea in their head, but they're not doing that. Like, and that is the one thing that I think is going to have the biggest impact on Valve moving their ass in doing something. No, and the whales don't care, because the whales only care about unboxing hats and then selling them. Of course the whales don't care. But that's where the angle of making Valve look bad comes in. If you can get a shitload of people to make Valve look bad, and have a shitload of people say, we are no longer spending money on your game. We, not me, but like we, generally speaking, like we of the biggest figures in the TF2 sphere are deciding to no longer, you know, engage with your product by giving it money. We are depriving you of our dollars to show our disdain with how you're handling the game. That's gonna reflect bad on them. Like, could you imagine if the biggest, like, Counter-Strike YouTubers, the fucking massive whales that dump thousands and thousands into opening cases a year for YouTube content, suddenly showed up and said, hi, we're not gonna give you your fucking money anymore because the way you're fucking this game, right? That is a pretty powerful, and that's a pretty strong thing to do. And I think a lot of people would see that and follow suit, like, oh shit, these guys are upset? Oh man. Do you think the price of refined would be stable if bots didn't exist? I mean, there would have still been gradual inflation over the years, but probably not to the extremity that it's reached that it's reached now, for sure. Like, I think it would be way not nearly as bad. Do you think if Valve had a leader, they would take things more seriously because it's known that Valve works freely and do whatever they feel like? That's not really true. They have, like, this flat structure, but they very obviously prioritize certain projects over another. Like, they're working on Deadlock right now, which is a fucking joke, right? So they very obviously have someone kind of holding the reins and steering people where they need to go. Sure, someone can go fuck off and work on something else for a while, but that's not going to produce a tangible result in a shorter amount of time, so they're not going to fucking touch TF2, for example. Hot take, TF2 community has become progressively more volatile to the point where Valve doesn't want to put a lot of time and effort into it. That doesn't matter. Sure, you can, and that's the thing, Valve can ignore that. Valve can ignore a whole bunch of grumpy babies, you know, pounding the table on Twitter. That's why you need to deprive them of their fucking money. It doesn't matter how we say how we feel, because they can just ignore it. What Valve sees from us is this. They don't see me, they don't see you, they don't see what you're typing, they see this. Don't give them this. It's that simple. It's that simple! And yeah, it is their fault for people being volatile. Do their jobs. It's not that hard. Do you think making TF2 open source would be a possibility? No. You think cheating is bad now? It'd get way worse. I think since Valve doesn't have any way and we're at the lowest of lows, might be time for that Emporium video. That's a ways off. Don't worry, it'll come, but not now. If we can get a large majority of people to boycott Steam altogether, you're not gonna get enough people to boycott Steam in general, but I think we just need more people just like vocally saying we're not giving Valve our money anymore for TF2, and we need to and encourage other people to do that. I think that's what needs to happen. Do you think Valve would just come out and end support for TF2? No, absolutely not. I already said a moment ago that they would not do that because it would just immediately cause an a ripple effect of instability across their other games markets. If they shut down one, how is that going to reflect on their others? It makes no sense for them to just turn off TF2. It's not going to happen. I don't know, man. And what's even more insulting, right? What's even more insulting is you have Valve making Deadlock right now. They're making yet another online multiplayer shooter, and they don't have a functioning anti-cheat in any of their games. They're not addressing any of the problems in their games, and they have the gall to put out another one? What's gonna prevent that game from getting fucked over and immediately filled with cheaters? Like, are they that fucking tone deaf? Do they not realize what they're doing? It's insane. That just and also, like, not just that being tone deaf, but the type of game it is being tone deaf. There's not really a high, at least I don't think there is a high demand for a 5v5 competitive oriented MOBA shooter that looks like hot dick. It looks terrible. There are people within hashtag #FixTF2 Inner Circle calling for a boycott and IMO. They should be given center stage. The What's video goes in depth on it. Yeah, they should be going into center. They should be given center stage. I don't understand why that wasn't a larger focal point. Don't give Valve your fucking money. If you don't like the product, don't support the product. It's that easy. Spreading the info. Chat's going too fast. Spreading the info that all Valve games are plagued with bots in context of Deadlock, also likely becoming a bot fest, is probably one of the better ways to make Valve care. Absolutely. Because here we have, and I've also mentioned that before on one of my previous streams, where they're putting out this game that is inevitably going to be bloated with more cheaters, and they already cannot take care of their other games. And they are going to heavily monetize the shit out of that. Right? Why is that not a bigger focus? That Valve is royally fucking all of their other games, and they're making another one. How is that not like something that should be the focus, right? That was also like an afterthought that some people mentioned, but that's not like a stronger focal point. No, yeah, and so, yeah, Valve isn't going to say anything. They will not directly address this because they fucked up the first time by doing that. They actually acknowledged it, and whenever there is an acknowledgement of the problem, people will take that and assume they're going to do something. And now it's putting egg on their face. Because now it's been 2 years and people keep pointing and laughing. I'm surprised they haven't deleted it yet. Like, people keep going back and pointing and laughing at that tweet. Like, oh, look, guys. They said they were going to do something. They see the problem. They still haven't done anything. They're not going to put themselves in the same situation again. Oh, sorry, guys. We see it again. But, we've been having too many snack breaks. We had eating some pink cookies. We spent too much time modeling the weird snake lady's head in Deadlock. So we haven't been able to get to CF2. We've been too busy. What if we focused on exposing the actual crimes committed by the bot hosters, doxing and DDoSing to the world, something like Valve is facilitating criminal... Thing is, that won't work either. Here's why. Is the car company sued for vehicular manslaughter? Is the manufacturer of hammers sued when someone kills someone with the hammer? TF2's text chat and voice chat and shit are the vehicles by which bad actors commit crimes. Just because Valve made these tools does not make them responsible. And that is also something Valve can completely ignore. That's why the angle of, like, showing the crimes these bot hosters and shit are doing isn't gonna do anything either, right? Yes, it's all horrible, don't get me wrong, it's fucking reprehensible and terrible behavior. But Valve is not responsible for what these people are doing. Just as a car company is not responsible for someone hitting someone on their bicycle, just the same as a gun manufacturer isn't responsible for someone committing murder or with a hammer or a knife or whatever. They're not going to hold them responsible. They hold the individual responsible, not the person who made the tools by which the crime is committed, right? Additionally, like, if you want to go the angle of making Valve look bad, doxing is a dime a dozen. DDoSing is a dime a dozen. It happens every fucking day. Go look at fucking, like, the Minecraft community. Go look at, like, any other big community on Twitter. People are getting doxed left and right. It happens every day. So-and-so got doxxed, this person got doxxed. There's no uniqueness behind it. There's no big flare and flash of like, doxing, it's this rare, scary, spooky thing. No. But you know what is rare? An entire game being filled with bots and cheaters rendering it unplayable. I don't know why the What decided to focus on that for his like main, you know, like cornerstone video, like focusing on the crimes the bot hosters were doing. I understand it's all terrible, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to invoke action from Valve when it's not their responsibility, nor is it their fault. Really, it should have just been entirely focused on the cheaters themselves and the problems the game faces. That should be the focal point, alongside not giving Valve the fucking money you have. Doxing gets the attention of more people because crime? I mean, sure, I guess, but it's like boy who cried wolf, boy who cried dox. It's like, oh, someone else got doxed today. I'm just gonna go back, fuck all about my business. No, yeah, it's good in that you're making, you know, people hate the bot hosters more, but that's not doing what needs to be done to get Valve to take action. It's directing people's anger towards the people that are causing the problem, not the people that can treat the problem, and are choosing to not do it. Can't believe people want the bot hosters docs like it will do anything. Like no, these guys crave attention. They would love it if they got doxxed. They would love it if someone showed up to their house and like tried to commit harm to them. That's what they want. Secretly, they all crave this. That's why they're doing what they do. Do I think TF2 is doomed? I mean, sure, the game's fucking old. Do I think it's completely doomed? No. I think there's always going to be some, not always, but for a long time, there's going to be some active player base because community servers are a thing. And basically no online multiplayer games even have that as an option now. That's one of the main reasons why TF2's lasted so long, is because it's not contained and restricted to only official servers hosted by the game company. If that was the case, this game would have died 6 years ago. 7 years ago. Like, if Meet Your Match just disabled community servers, then the game would have long since been dead. But the fact community servers exist and allow people to go play the game, you know, issue-free, and how they want, if they want to go a bit further beyond vanilla, then no, the game is not going to die out for a very long time. Like, if Valve turned off their official servers today, a lot of traffic would be redirected towards community servers. You'd see a pretty big dip in players because half the player base, humans, play casual and they don't touch community servers, mostly. There would be a player drop, but there's always going to be that dedicated player base that hangs out inside of community servers. What the bot hosters are doing is bad, but doxing as a whole sort of become this common, saying it isn't special anymore. Yeah. Another issue with bot hosters getting doxed or similar is that if one gets scared, 2 or 3 will come out of the woodwork and take their place. There's not that many of them. Like, I think, here's the thing, right? The scope of the problem inside of TF2 isn't that massive. There's a lot of cheater bots out there, but there's also not that many relative to the number of people that engage with the game. Because what do we have? We have 200,000 signatures. That seems like a lot of people. But not all of these 200,000 people play the game. Only about 30,000 people do. And of the 30,000 people are active, you know, that I can't, you know, like in my big bot video, you can't separate cheater bots from humans. Of those 30,000, probably 1,000 or so, roughly, maybe somewhere between like 800 and 1,500 of those are cheater bots. And maybe 10,000 people engage in casual every day. And then if you have 1,500 cheater bots or 1,000 cheater bots, that's 1 out of every 10 players, like 1 out of every 8 players, right? So it's not that many, and it's not that many people hosting bots. It's probably like 30, somewhere like less than 100. It's not that many fucking people that are causing the problems. And like 5 or 6 guys are like controlling 90% of it, really. And it's like more people aren't going to come out of the woodwork and start fucking with TF2 because there's less energy and less riffraff around TF2. They'd prefer to go to other games, right, and fuck with those other games. There's also more money in these other games. Really, the only people that host bots and cheat in TF2 are like the most mentally ill people you can imagine. Whereas most cheaters and what have you in other games are really kind of doing these things for money and for profit. They cheat in CSGO to level up the accounts to then sell the leveled up accounts to other people. They develop cheats for CSGO because they can be sold and what have you. Like, there's no money in cheating in TF2 anymore. The only reason why people do it is to elicit responses because they're deprived of attention. Because Uncle Todd, probably when they were 5 or 6, got a little too close to them inside the closet, you know? And so now they're exacting that pent-up rage and pent-up trauma out onto the world as the sociopaths they are. There's not that many of them. No, it's funny because like people people think I'm joking. I'm not. Like, I've been inside of their fucking Discords and shit. These people are fucking mental. Like, they would not be able to function out in society. These people never leave their homes. Like, they are genuinely unwell people. Like, I feel bad. Like, God help these people. They need genuine help. They're fucked. But because they can be isolated in their rooms and seek out other people online, it just kind of compounds their sociopathy and they act that out on the world. Why was it in their Discord? Where do you think I got the screenshots from in my first video? So I could find out how many bots these fuckers are hosting. It's not that hard to get in there. It's fully public. Anyone can go in and look inside of there right now. Oh, I put all the screenshots in my first fucking video. In your opinion, how long do you think Fixed TF2 movement is going to last? A week. Like, a week from yesterday. Like, come next Monday, 90% of this discourse is going to be gone. Because people just aren't going to care. Because that's just how the internet works. Unless there's consistent gusto behind something, then it's just going to die out. Unfortunately, because of how the internet works, it's not good for content, it's not good for business, people aren't going to keep making videos about it, people are going to get tired of seeing it, and so it's going to die out. And that's why social media movements are not the solution. The solution is depriving the fucking company of your money because that has a lasting impact. That is the #1 most effective thing that goes beyond just signing a petition or making a tweet or posting a video. Because in the moment, it's a big deal. But a week later, no one cares. But if you consistently don't give Valve your fucking money, that is the lasting impact that you need. And people don't want to acknowledge that. I don't get that. Like, why is that? Again, I'll probably say this like 10 more times before I stop streaming today. Why is that not the focus point? What everyone needs to do, everyone in here, if you care about the fucking game, come the summer update, don't open the fucking boxes. It's genuinely that simple. Come the summer update, don't give them a fucking dime. Don't gamble. You're wasting your money anyway. That's what everyone needs to do. But people, I hope a lot of people are willing to do that. But that's what needs to be done. And yeah, and you and I both know the content is going to be shit anyways. We're going to get more like sparkle vomit unusual effects slapped on top of like more frogs and like capybaras and like a water bottle on Heavy's head. The content's going to be garbage anyhow. Don't open the fucking box! It's that simple. And that's what needs to be done. I hope by the time I get back from being overseas that I can make a proper video like saying that. Like social, like all the, like again, making Valve look bad is great, but again after a week it can be ignored. It'll just go away. Deprive them of the money. That's what needs to be done. Since this might be a PR problem for Valve, do you think we might get VAC 2 and have it all ported to all Valve Online games? I don't think anti-cheats are cross-compatible. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think if they get a functioning anti-cheat for, say, Deadlock, that they can then put that in TF2. I don't think it's how it works. So them having to make an entirely new anti-cheat is just not going to happen. Bot hosters couldn't ruin the game from a prison cell? Sure. but getting mad at Valve for allowing it to happen isn't going to get them arrested. And because, thanks to internet anonymity, which is a wonderful thing, don't get me wrong, they're never going to be held responsible. Simple as. Give money to me. No, don't give money to me. I really do appreciate the donations and shit, but like don't give me the money. I don't need it. I appreciate it, but I'm not asking you for it. What's your take on the whole save TF2 thing? Man, Swipes, you're a little late. But the TLDR is generally, I don't think it's going to work, because once again, it's another social media flash in the pan that's not going to last beyond the scope of a week. If people really want to have a lasting and tangible impact that Valve is going to notice, they need to stop spending money on the game. Because a bunch of angry people on social media can simply be ignored. But if you're depriving them of the money and sowing instability in one of their most famous games' economies, which could have ripple effects on their other games, that has a much stronger lasting impact. And you keep consistently doing that, that's going to have more impact on them. And also, in unison, keep vocalizing that you're doing this. Don't do it in secret. Keep saying it. Deprive them of the money, the tangible action, and then keep saying it to keep them looking bad, right? Obviously, keep the problem at the forefront of all discourse surrounding the game. That's another no-brainer. I'm not saying don't do what's been happening. Keep it up, keep it going. But that's not going to happen, because that's not how social media works, because everything just dies out in a week anyways. No one's going to have the will to keep doing this over and over every day. It's because people are going to start getting annoyed, right? Yes, in order for Valve to take action, people got to boycott, stop spending money on the game. Rather give you money than Valve, even if I don't agree with every take. I can appreciate how much you care about TF2, appreciate that. Too bad, take my money. Again, thank you guys, but, like, yeah. Why the Deadlock cake? It's an alpha gonna change? It's very much not an alpha. I've directly watched, the game is basically done. It's fully playable, they have functioning mechanics, functioning maps, fleshed out characters. Visually, it's not done, but the game is there. If this were an alpha, they probably wouldn't have figured out certain mechanics and how things are gonna flow. The game is like, it's there. And it's really bad. It's flawed conceptually, right? It's flawed conceptually. It's a 5v5 competitive-oriented MOBA shooter that it's an audio-visual, like, where's that fucking screenshot? I think, I know I showed this last time, but I have to find this again. Who fucking sent this to me? Hold on, I gotta find this. Like, this is what we're in store for, right? This is what we're getting. Like, the game is fucking conceptually flawed when you just can't tell what the fuck is happening. What is this mess? Fuck! Does this look like fun to you? Do you want to play this game? I don't! I see legs. I see feet. There's a heart here. I don't know what all this is. Is this like a dead guy? What is that? Someone else, or is it like one of like the little gremlins you have to shoot? There's like walls and ice. Like what's the ice chick from Overwatch? The thick one, the thick bitch people like. What's her name? Remind me. Is she here? The one with glasses. Like that's what this makes me think of as Overwatch, or Valorant or something. Like, yeah. It's insane that this is what Valve is making. Like this is what their efforts and focus are going towards right now. Absolute insanity. And all of their other games are being left to rot and get bloated with a bunch of cheaters. Fucking wild, and there are people that are supporting this game. I see them on Twitter. I see people on Twitter supporting this fucking game like, oh yeah, you know, it might be good. Does this look good to you? I don't think it does. Not to me anyway. Ay, ay, ay. Can't help but feel the money Valve gets from TF2 is a drop in the bucket, and they can probably just ignore it until everything dies down. No, but this is what I was saying earlier, right? Is you need to show that one of their most popular games markets can be forced into instability by people depriving them of money. And that could, I don't know if it would, that could potentially have ripple effects in their other bigger games, right? Like, for example, and this is just a wild hypothetical, not going to happen, But if people just legitimately stop spending money on the game, like everyone stops spending money, not everyone, like 90% of people stop spending money on the game, value of items tanks and crashes, right? That's gonna impact the CSGO market, or the CS market, right? Because they actively rely on items like TF2 keys to launder scammed items, and also sell and trade other items, because those are free and open tradable keys, raw liquid items, because they can't trade CS keys anymore. And if you show the world, and like not the world, if you show these other player bases that TF2 can be launched into Instability, that can affect theirs as well. Like, it makes fucking no sense to me, like, why it's like, oh no, it's not gonna work. I think it would. I think it would. LSD simulator, yeah, it really does look like that. I'm proposing that we declare independence from Valve. We have the liberty, ability, and means to create CK Casual. Fuck Uncletopia. Crowdfund vanilla servers and host them on teamwork.tf. Teamwork.tf is fucking dead. No thanks. But I do agree that more people need to host normal vanilla community servers. That is a very good idea. And also advertise them. I have one. I have a TF2 server. It's a normal vanilla server if people want to play. Go to my website, zestyjesus.com. My server is right there. It's just a normal, no flashy bells and whistles, have fun server. Go play on it. Like, and more people need to host their own servers and advertise them as well, because it's not casual. Hello? Oh, what else was there? There's other donations, sorry. You need to make it clear that all other Valve's communities that this isn't just a TF2 problem. I completely agree. Valve proves they don't care to maintain their live service titles. CS2 is infested. CSGO's dead. CS2 is infested, absolutely, and yeah, and of course Deadlock is not gonna. Why would we expect Valve to have a functioning anti-cheat for fucking Deadlock? They're not going to. We shouldn't just boycott TF2, but Deadlock, I agree. Just like, do not deprive them of the thing that motivates them to work, which is money. Can't wait for a couple of decades for Valve to ignore the Deadlock community. Honestly, I think that game's gonna be dead on arrival. I really don't see a strong demand for that title. I genuinely don't. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. My reaction to the view bombing, I think that's one of the review bombing is something that needs to be a larger focal point. More focus should be put on that, because that's taking the issue to Valve's doorstep and making them look bad on their own platform with their own game. Review bombing is something that more people need to be doing, and I encourage everyone to do that if you haven't already. Go downvote the game on Steam. I think the best way to punish Valve for ignoring TF2 is to negative review bomb Deadlock and not play at all. I also agree. Why would we trust them to make a functioning, playable game when they can't maintain their other titles? I completely agree. Oh, by the way, here's our latest shooter game. Oh, uh-oh, it's full of cheaters now. Bad. Sad. Oy, oy, oy. Fuck, it's hot in here. I gotta turn on my fan. I'm sweating to death here. Give me a sec. It's 105 degrees today in San Antonio. It sucks. It's so hot in Texas, and it's not even officially summertime yet. It's miserable. Oh, I hate the heat. Utter misery. If the 10% owns 99% of the market and Wales won't participate, why would it have an actual effect? I don't know. Here's the thing, right? They may own most of the wealth, but they don't do most of the key spending, because traders are smart. They don't do the gambling. They're just in it to shark the kids that gamble and open cases and steal their unusuals for them for like a $5 Steam gift card or something. Yeah, I saw McVicker's alleged rumor about the first save TF2. The rumor that he just threw out there into the ether without any evidence whatsoever. Fucking stupid. Shouldn't have done that. And now people are taking that and running with it as though it were fact. Ugh! My other headphone is caught in my chair. Come back to me. There we go. European server. If my American server gets enough people in there, then I will make a European server. Like, if I can consistently keep an American server populated, then I'll open one in Europe as well. It's not that hard. It really isn't that hard to run a TF2 server. It's literally like open and play. Unless you need someone to like moderate people, like saying, oh, mean no words and shit, then you're gonna have to like pay some mod or like find someone who's gonna do it for free for you. But I don't do that. Just like literally the only rule in my server is don't cheat. If you don't cheat, you're already like, it's fine. If you come across someone you have issue with, mute them. You have the tools at your disposal to not have to look at or listen to people that bother you. But yeah, if I get my server filled up enough in America, then I'll open up one in Europe. The rumor was that Valve had internal meetings back in 2022 about Save TF2. It's a completely unfounded rumor with no evidence, and he puts it out there in a tweet. And of course it blows up, and you have people running around with it as though it were fact. And it's just some unsubstantiated rumor that McVicker just threw out into the ether. Ah, maybe don't do that. Not, like, I mean, that's how he earns his business, because he is a journalist after all. Journalist. Very likely when Deadlock comes out, it's going to have cheaters on it. It already has cheaters. Like, I wish I was kidding. Deadlock already has cheaters. Where's that screenshot? Do I have it somewhere? Hold on. I had it somewhere. Okay, so I don't have it here, but I did show it last time I streamed, so you can go look at my previous stream, where there was a message from inside the Discord where people are playtesting it, where they had to say, okay, we're kicking people out for cheating in the game and exploiting exploits. Like, it already has cheaters and it's still in a closed beta. Like, fucking insane! Do you think they really had absolutely no PR meetings about Save TF2? No, I don't think Valve did. I think Valve made the tweet and then went back to business as usual. I guarantee you they had no meeting whatsoever after and they're not going to have one after this time around. Unless we actually hit them where it hurts. I don't think Valve is going to do anything internally whatsoever. Because Valve is already painfully aware of the problem. They already know everything that's happening in TF2. Make no mistake. Valve is just as aware as we are. They know the cheaters are there. They know the bots are there. They are very aware of all the problems. They just don't act on them because it's not in their best interest to keep them earning money. Because they don't have to. Yeah, and they likely know more. They probably know all of the people that are fucking with their games. But right now, it's not worth their time to act on that and fix the problems. They're too busy focusing on Deadlock right now. And also installing a new weekly subscription service in Counter-Strike so you can rent skins. Undoubtedly an experimental action, so they can put that in Deadlock. Deadlock is fun as shit, but I'm a dotard. It appeals to MOBA fans, but not class-based shooters. Yeah, so people telling TF2 fans like, yeah, just go play Deadlock. It's not. It's more of a MOBA than a shooter. It's a MOBA with shooting elements. Like, they literally just took the camera from up here and put it down here, behind you. That's the only difference between a MOBA and Deadlock. Also, it follows you, but that's like the only difference between the two games. What if Valve worked on VAC Live and gave it to CS2 and TF2, but it's not ready yet? I don't know, man. That's one thing I've heard some people say. Like, for example, I recall One on one of his streams, Onepixel, was talking about this, where there's no way, and I kind of doubt this because this is Valve we're talking about, there's no way that Valve would have put CS2 out there, would have launched it into the public, without at least thinking about what they're going to do about cheaters, right? And for those unfamiliar with VAC Live, that's like Valve using artificial intelligence to hunt down cheaters and ban them, right? But the only way that kind of a system works is with a lot of data. And the only way they get data is by getting a shitload of people playing the game for a long period of time to train that AI. And so what he thinks is happening is that they're just letting cheaters run rampant for a while so they can train VAC Live. And then once it has enough data, and it's figured out what is and is not a cheater, they'll flip the switch and then boom, wipe them all out in one shot. That's what One roughly said on one of his streams, and I kind of understand that angle. Perhaps that's what they're doing for Counter-Strike, but not for TF2. Like, VAC Live is not something that they're going to be doing for TF2. And yeah, it does sound a little bit like Cope, because CS2's already been out for, what, a year? 2 years now? Something like that? Oh, how long? I don't keep track of Counter-Strike. CS2 has been out for, like, a year now, right? A year, 2 years? But VAC Live has been in early training since early 2018. It's been almost 7 years. The thing is, they swapped over to a new engine. Now they're in Source 2, so I would imagine they would have to start over from at least something that resembles Scratch. Maybe not entirely from scratch, but it's probably different in a different engine. At least I would assume it is. Do I think the Save TF2 petition will make a difference? I will say the harsh truth, and I will say it probably won't. Actually, no, I know for a fact that it won't at all. Because here's what I think is going to happen. I know people are going to call me a doomer. They're going to call me a doomer. They're going to call me a naysayer. They're going to say, oh, Zesty is boycotting Save TF2, fix TF2. No, I'm not. But here's what I think is going to happen. They're going to print out all of these names on paper. They're going to take them to Valve's offices. They're going to have the PR guy walk out to the front door, get filmed, taking the stack of papers. And as soon as the camera is off of them, they're going to dump it in the recycle bin. And then they're going to go about their business. Because that's not going to force them to do anything. It's not going to make them change. What actually hits them where it hurts is depriving them of their primary goal, which is your fucking money. Because they don't care about a temporary window of bad press. Because all that's going to do is blow up on social media for about a week. And then once people have moved on and stopped caring, what's it going to matter? I signed the petition. I did. Because there is still the possibility that they'll take it and it would actually, like, you know, tug at their heartstrings. I don't know. I did sign it myself, and I also encourage everyone to go sign it as well. Who fucking knows? It could work. I don't think it will. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Because it could. I can't predict the future. Don't assume what I've said is like a guarantee. I'm not a fucking, you know, a soothsayer. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I'll put it this way. I hope to God I'm wrong. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't want that to happen. But I think that's what's going to happen. That's just... yeah. I don't know, dude. I think just more people need to be willing to hit them where it hurts. I really wanted to ask you if you can give advice for making video scripts or general pattern you seem to be using. I just write. I mean, like, it depends on the video you're trying to make. Like, if you want to tell a story, tell a good story. If you want to be informative, you know, cut to the chase. Don't have a lot of fill and, you know, and fluff in there. Keep it engaging. Avoid being repetitive unless you believe it's necessary. All 200,000 need to agree to not give Valve a dime. I completely agree. I think that should have been a stronger focus, and it was not from out of the gate. Does the CS2 community know about the movement? They probably do, but they don't care, because it's not their game. Why would someone else's house burning down be of concern to them? It's not their house. But we need to show that it could also be their house. By sowing that instability in the market and depriving them of money. And then Valve goes, oh shit, maybe we should do something or continue to not do something. Guess where that fire is going to spread next? Counter-Strike. Dota. And inevitably Deadlock, if they don't get their shit together. Any hints on the next video? Yeah, so... not to tell too much, I had a few people reach out to me that host bots themselves, both in and outside of TF2, and they basically gave me a crash course in how everything works. It's fucking wild. So first of all, I was wrong about the $5 minimum on Steam. You don't need to spend that, because there is an entire marketplace online where you can buy Steam accounts for as cheap as a penny. Fully unlocked. And it can trade. And you can buy them in bulk in the tens of thousands. It's fucking insane. And I'll be going into, like, very gory detail as much as I can as to how it all works. Because it's wild. And and also, like I kind of want to take a different angle on this because it's not just TF2. It's Counter-Strike. It's a whole bunch of other games. It's also Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, any social media platform you can think of. Even fucking, like, you know, like porn sites have fake accounts so they can send bots in there. Like, you know the whole dead internet theory? It's not a theory when I can watch someone on a marketplace put out like 200,000 Twitter accounts for sale for like a penny a piece, and you can just buy them and then set them to work. It's crazy. Like I kind of knew in the back of my mind that something like this was happening. You hear the figure like, oh, 80% of the traffic on Twitter or something is bots. Like, you take that number and go, huh, oh yeah, that's a lot. But you don't really think about it until you see it. Like, I went on this place, you can just buy fuckloads of Twitter accounts. Or accounts for other, like, social media platforms. And they, like, I don't use social media, and, like, I don't touch Twitter or Facebook or anything, because, like, I now understand that, like, anything you're interacting with there, it's a 4 out of 5 chance that you're interacting with something that is not human. It is a bot. That's fucking wild. So yeah, that's the angle of my next video. Do you think that moving TF2 to Source 2 would help in the slightest? No, it wouldn't do anything, because that would require Valve to do work. And Valve is not willing to do work. That would take probably more work than putting out something that resembles a functioning anti-cheat. Because even if TF2 was suddenly magically on Source 2, they would still have to make a functioning anti-cheat, which they've shown that they're not willing to do. No, yeah, Disney got caught buying a bunch of bots to put positive opinions about their movies on Twitter. Lots of companies do it. The government does it. The US government does this. It's been proven that, like, any of, like, the main US government Twitter accounts, like, a vast majority of the replies and likes are from fucking bots. Nothing is real. Nothing is fucking real. We live in a simulation. Nothing is real. Only what is real is only before my eyes in this room. 80% of you watching my stream right now are probably fucking bots. So I am curious, though. I do want to run a poll. I do want to run a poll here. I want to see. I want to see how many of you actually would support a genuine financial boycott for TF2. I'm curious. If that's something that you think needs to be done and would work. And I'll be right back. I have to piss. So I'm gonna let that poll run. I really have to piss because I've been drinking too much water. turned. So why is there? Okay, is cheese a thing now? Is cheese a thing in my fucking in my chat? Cheese meme? What the fuck? So we had strawberries. We had Gregnant, right? We had strawberries. We had Gregnant. Jesus, why is it cheese now? Can I get some strawberries and some Gregnants, please? We haven't seen that in a while. Give me some Gregnants. What a fucking mess all of you are. My god. Y'all are wild, man. Let's see, already doing it. I haven't given Valve as a whole money in forever, and never will again. Put this money towards a music license for a cool intro, please. I have one planned. So, something I like to do in my videos is I'm always, and like I always try to incorporate elements of my favorite shows and movies into my videos, and there's one that I've been dying to do for a very long time. And the major hurdle has been the music license because it's very expensive. And I've been saving up for it in the background because I really want to do it, and I should have enough for the next video I make. Not the one about the bots, but the one I have planned for Meet Your Match. Cheese, again, thank you for the cheese donation, I appreciate that. In the last 2 years, I've spent over $1,000 on unboxing crates when updates drop. Yeah, not happening anymore. Amen, brother. Already disengaged completely from the game's economy, even delete all of my keys in metal. Trading for items supports Valve indirectly. There you go. I have not spent a dime myself either. That's what needs to be done. Wholeheartedly, that's what needs to be done. Simple as. No, yeah, the what? I did a reference to House. That was because that's one of like my favorite shows when I was growing up. So I'm like, I gotta recreate the intro for this because it was kind of like a kind of dissecting the symptoms and going through and coming to the conclusions of the primary illness of like, oh, that was my angle from it. Perhaps a little melodramatic, but that's what I was thinking. That was my thought process by incorporating House MD as the intro. You think? Okay, so listen. I'm openly willing to admit this because I'm a part of the problem, or I was part of the problem. You want to guess how much money I've spent on TF2 since I started playing? Just throw a number out there. Throw a number. How much money do you think that I've spent on TF2? Mind you, I've been playing since launch. So think about, 13 years worth of being able to spend money on TF2. From that angle, over 13 years, how much money have I spent on the game? Think about it. And this isn't just through the community market, this isn't just through Steam, but also third-party marketplaces, because I have the figure and I've tallied everything up. And it kind of made me sick when I did it. Because I never really done it until recently. I tallied every single penny I've spent on the game. I've spent about $27,000 on TF2, roughly. Over 13 years, I've spent about $27,000. More or less. Give or take a few pennies here and there that I couldn't account for. And I'm not giving them another fucking dime of my money. So think about that for a minute. Me, one of the fucking whales of this game. Not for unboxing, because I would collect skins. I would buy things directly. That's what I did. I would buy things directly. I would gamble. I'd do trade-ups. Some of them very expensive. But a majority of my money spent on TF2 is buying items directly. So take it from me, someone who has spent a year's salary for some people on this game over the course of a decade. If I'm not spending money on this fucking game anymore, neither should you. I am one of Valve's biggest fucking customers, and I'm saying no. No more. And so should you. Does my family know about this? Absolutely. They know. Because think about this, right? Type in chat right now. Everyone type in chat. Just roughly estimate, how much money have you spent on TF2 since you started playing? Put it in chat. Actually, let me just type it. Let's get a rough idea. How much money have you spent on the game since you started playing? And everyone just look at the numbers that are going to be rolling in, okay? Look at the numbers rolling in. That's a lot. That's a lot of fucking money. Now think about not giving that to Valve. You think a financial boycott's not going to work? When we have this many people spending money on the game, and quite a bit, I might add. Not only in terms of, like, let's say a daily or weekly expense, but also what they have in their inventories. If they just stopped engaging with that money, and stopped moving it around for them and giving them, like, you know, passive income from the community market, think about all of that money suddenly just not being in circulation with TF2, and then depriving them of any additional money being put into the game. And people say a financial boycott wouldn't work. A lot of people saying $0. I commend you. I commend you. You're stronger than I. You can get a lot of your money back by selling your stuff. Yeah, I did cash out most of my inventory, and I made back about $6,000. And I probably have another... The items I kept are my most expensive, because I put a lot of time and effort into hunting these down. And, like, I'm not quite ready to part with these items that I have a sentimental attachment with. And also, I just like the skins, so I can show you. With the items that remain in my inventory, I probably have another... like $15,000 left in my inventory, roughly. Somewhere around there. And I could probably get most of that just in cash if I sold my stuff right now. The only unusuals that I've kept are the ones that I received as gifts. Otherwise, I sold all my unusuals. Like... Oop. Game, hello? Like, just this right here. Just this is about 15 grand, roughly. And I kept these because I worked really hard to, like, get these, and I spent a lot of money on these skins, and I don't want to sell them. So, that's where all of my value remains in my backpack, is just this page. And I'm not giving them another dime. Not one. Not a single fucking... Not another fucking penny is coming out of my wallet and going to Valve through TF2. And any other games that I can buy off-platform from Steam... I'm gonna do that. Yeah, so, like, for example, this one skin alone, this is, this is a strange minimal wear top shelf minigun. This is the best wear strange top shelf in existence, and there's only one. I bought this for cash, $3,000. I could probably sell this for about $4 or $5 now. I could probably sell it for about $4,000 or $5,000, roughly. It's not factory new, it's minimal wear, but I could probably get $5 grand for that. Each of the strange factory new mercenary grades, each of these is probably about $2,000 to $2,500 a piece, somewhere around there. So each of these, somewhere around there. And then of course all the freelances are about $100 to $200 a piece. So. Yeah. Doesn't Valve make most of their money from Steam? Yeah, of course, Valve makes most of their money from Steam, but I still think a financial boycott is the right thing to do for TF2. Plain and simple. And I cashed out most of the rest of the shit I have. Like, I had probably 7 full pages of skins from my collection. I had a lot of very expensive, strange skins that I just sold because I'm fucking done. I didn't see it as worth my time and just to keep these things for a game like this. Do third-party sites like marketplace.tf still support Valve indirectly? Yeah, of course they do. Because if you have third-party marketplaces like, you know, manco.store, marketplace.tf, you still have a lot of people that are engaging with the TF2 economy, and all of those keys and all those items all come from Valve. So it's all part of the same system, and the existence of these third-party economies, Valve does benefit from them. And I also mentioned that in my last video, where you have all these guys that are farming item drops, blending that down into refined metal, and then they sell all of that shit through third-party marketplaces. It's all part of the same system. It's all contributing towards the same game. Isn't it possible that they see the lack of financial gain as a game die situation, like continuing to not bother about the game? I don't think I understand the question. Isn't it possible that they see the lack of financial gain as a game died situation? I don't think so. No, yeah, Counter-Strike also has a massive cheater problem. But the thing with Counter-Strike is they have, like, 800,000 humans and 300,000 bots. The majority of which are kind of relegated to special game modes. So they can kind of be swept under the rug if you only focus on, like, the main ways to play and not the 2v2 and what the other game modes that CS has. Because they idle in there for case drops. Yeah, CS is in equally as hot water. And it's only going to get worse. They did recently do a ban wave on a bunch of case farm bots, which is at least showing someone at Valve is willing to do something, but are they going to keep it? Are they going to keep up with it? Probably not. Yeah, and it seems like, according to the poll up top, most people, an overwhelming majority of people, at least in my chat, agree that they would probably engage in something that resembles a financial boycott. No, yeah, CSGO is a... Yeah, I agree. CSGO is a casino with a first-person shooter attached. Do you recommend me just deleting all of the cosmetics I own? No, I would sell them to someone else. Sell them to someone else less fortunate, that is, someone that's still willing to engage with the TF2 economy. Just don't sell it through, like, the community market or something where Valve gets a cut. That's how I cashed out my stuff anyway. I just sold it directly to other traders, like other collectors mostly. If fixed TF2 does not work, will I spearhead a boycott movement? I'm not the person to do that. I'm too controversial. Like, I myself would not be able to spearhead something that resembles a boycott simply because of all the controversies that surround me. They need, like, there needs to be, like, if it were to go the social media angle again, they need squeaky clean figures. Why do you think I was omitted from the inner circles with the new fixed TF2 thing? They can't be associated with me. So, therefore, I am excluded. So, no, I would not be able to spearhead something. It would have to be someone else. And then everyone could back that, right? And it also needs to be a collective thing, not just one person or another. It needs to be everyone, right? Not just one guy or like one or two YouTubers. It needs to be fucking everyone backing the same idea. If I'm gonna do a workshop review, it's gonna be later this month because I'm gonna be out of town for a couple of weeks. So, yeah, but yeah, if it were possible to get a lot of people on board, to do a financial boycott, that would be a very good thing. Talking with some larger trader friends about a large-scale boycott fix TF2 is the first step in a long marathon to screw over hosters. Well, we'll see what you guys have going. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to Hungary. And I will do a stream while I'm over there. I will do a stream when I'm in Hungary. I'm going to Budapest. It's gonna be fun. I'm going to the source. I'm going to Russia. I'm gonna find the bot hosters myself. I'm gonna hunt them. I'm gonna fucking hunt them down. I'm gonna be in their neck of the woods. I'm gonna come beat them with the, I'm gonna hit them with La Chancla. Where's my fucking sandal? My sandals aren't here. Oh, I will bring them the wrath of South Texas via the chancla. I'll smack them on the butt like the toddlers they are. Why Hungary? I have a very good friend there. I have a very good friend, and we're gonna meet and we're gonna hang out. Oh God, I don't know, man. That's really all I think about the save TF2 thing or the fix TF2 thing. It needs to be a continued effort, and you need to be hitting Valve where it hurts more. Hit them in the wallet, keep it up. Just that's what needs to be done. And if people aren't willing to do that, then I don't know. I don't know. How big would it be on the internet if it fixed bots? Positive things get infinitely less traction than negative things. That's just a fact. Negativity sells way more on the internet. Controversy sells way more on the internet than if Valve actually did something good. Like, there would be a non-zero amount of people praising it, and probably a lot of people praising it, but it wouldn't be like this big thing like the game is fucked, right? No, like, yeah, I agree. I hope the game gets fixed, you know, but the bot hosters won't get bored. We're talking about very mentally ill people. They don't get bored because they don't have the mental capacity to get bored. They are just very unwell people. And they will keep doing this until the day they die, or until the game dies, and then they'll move on and get that attention from somewhere else. Well, I mean, yeah, boycotting TF2. It sucks because Steam has such a stranglehold on the market. If you want to play video games, either you're going to have to sail the seven seas or go to a lesser outlet for your entertainment than Steam. Obviously, the financial boycott would be primarily focused on TF2, but one against Steam entirely? I just don't know if that's possible. I really don't know if that's possible. It'd be good if you deprive them of even more money by not buying games through them. That would be another good kick to the dick. But are people going to do that? I don't think so. Because just not spending money on TF2, like, I'll say, it's, you know, it's like a sacrifice, right? It's like people going out of their way to do something that they don't want to do in hopes that it will bring about positive change. Asking people to not spend money on TF2, that's feasible. Like, that's not that hard. But like, oh yeah, don't spend money on Steam, you're gonna lose people. It needs to be like you know, little baby step goals towards hopefully driving bigger actions from Valve. If you go 0 to 100 right away and say, whoa, we gotta stop giving Valve all of our money via Steam, you're gonna lose people. I agree that that's what needs to be done. That's a good thing and should happen. But going about that immediately out of the gate, you'll lose people pretty quickly. It needs to reach that point, right? Social media movement didn't work twice. Next step, financial boycott. Financial boycott of TF2 doesn't work. Financial boycott of Steam could be the next step, or financial boycotting of their other games could be the next step. And then if that doesn't work, financial boycott of everything on Steam, right? It needs to, you know, keep ramping up the intensity as needed. Is it possible for Steam to get antitrusted? Maybe. I mean, I don't know the legalities behind it that well, but it's very much a monopoly at this stage. Like, Valve very much has a stranglehold on you know, online marketplace for video game sales for PC games. So yeah, and they're privately owned. So that's an issue. How long do you think Deadlock will last? A month. A month. It'll hit peak player numbers upon release, but then it'll hit exponential decay and it will die in a month. Unless they perform some insane paradigm shift and take it in a completely different direction, the game is going to be dead on launch, effectively. Like, it might have 5,000 people playing it for a little while, and then once they have their fill and realize, oh, this is just another cookie cutter, you know, competitive-oriented hero shooter, they'll move on to something else. And it'll be another flash in the pan. So, I don't see it being a success. I really don't. It looks boring. Like, I'm not kidding. I was watching someone inside of a Discord play it for like 30 minutes. It was just fucking boring. Like, just... you can be a gargoyle, and you can do the Kirby Stone Stomp. You can be a robot that shoots. You can be a warden guy that shoots. You can be a sniper that flies and shoots. Also, weird candle people and towers to attack, and also you ride on rails. It's just... It feels stretched too thin. Like, it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, I don't think Valve knew what this wanted to be. They just took elements from a bunch of different games and then smashed them together and said, fuck it, here we go. Steam profile creation process is too easy. An extreme measure like requiring 2FA to play TF2 would be an interesting approach to the bot problem. It's so easy to spoof numbers, though, man. And they already do that for verifications on Steam accounts for botnets and shit. Like, it's so easy to spoof a phone number. 2FA wouldn't be an ineffective solution, either via email or via phone. It's very easy. They are stopgaps, but the workarounds are too simple. CAPTCHAs are too simple. Like, so here's the thing, man. Like, okay, so the next part of this conversation, I need to, like, give a preface to this. This is not about TF2 botting. This is not about TF2 botting. This is about botting in general on Steam. This is a completely different beast. And I want people to understand that. When it comes to the sheer volume of bots on Steam in general, like bots being played in other games, bots being used for scams, bots being used to farm items, just in general. When Steam was being made, Valve likely had some understanding of just what they were about to unleash. They probably had some idea of like how the systems are going to be exploited, right? They understood the risks and what was going to happen, but then saw all of the dollars they were going to earn, and the positive benefit of getting all of these dollars is going to outweigh all of the exploits in that system, right? And then they launched Steam, and then it ended up being way worse than they thought. But then at that point, the cat was out of the bag. Pandora's box was opened. And there's no way to stuff it back in. Like, the massive amount of exploits and all these workarounds that exist for people to have sheer volumes of bots to bot in games, to bot on Steam, and just how easily disposable they are and how easy they are to make. Like, these are fundamental core problems with Steam that I don't think Valve ever truly fully understood until the problems were taking place. And now that Pandora's box is opened, all they can do is kind of piecewise address all of the symptoms as they manifest, and like only address the more egregious ones. Like cheating or case farming or things like that. But when it comes to botting at large, there's really not that much Valve can do unless they hire a fuckload of people to address the bots. And I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. They should. It is their responsibility. But just how much of a beast they unleashed, I understand why they don't do anything. It's fucking crazy. Like, just getting that little eye-opening, you know, crash course in how botting works from that one hoster I spoke with. Holy fuck. Like, just talking with this guy completely changed my view on like how Valve and Steam operate when it comes to botting. It's like a fucking wildfire. It's like you have to let it burn out until it's out of resource. Like you can't fight a massive wildfire. You have to let it burn until it's done, and let the damage go where it lie, and prevent other things from burning down effectively. It's just whoa. It's a lot bigger than anyone thinks, and I'm still myself having a hard time wrapping my head around it all. Yeah, Valve could pull the plug, but then they would be missing out on, you know, billions of dollars a year. But when it comes to cheating in TF2, it's a very different problem. I have to reinforce that. Cheating in TF2, just give us a functioning anti-cheat. That's all we want. The botting at wide scale, like, doesn't matter. Just give us a functioning anti-cheat. That's all we care about. That's what we're focusing on here. But when it comes to the volume of bots in TF2, that is still yet another symptom of Valve's neglect, where we can have 70% of the player base being bots. Like, that's on Valve. That's because of them. And the existence of all of those bots, has multiple negative effects, right? For one, and I also think a lot of people fail to realize this, a lot of people fail to realize that if you have this many bots in game, that completely invalidates all of the perceived growth, all of the perceived success of the game in recent years, all of the success of previous updates, because all of those spikes in players, all of that growth just wasn't real, right? So that completely turns the popularity of TF2 on its head, to where really not that many people play the game. Sure, 30,000 players is great for a 17-year-old game, but we're not hitting 100,000 players. And it's very likely that TF2 has not hit 100,000 players, human players, since the game went free to play. TF2's likely remained in the 5 figures of human players pretty much since 2011. And I don't think enough people really understand that. Like, now that I've put it out there that we've had this many bots, basically since the game went free to play, if not, you know, more now, definitely more now. The game was never that big. But no, yeah, small but strong. We have a very dedicated player base because the game is good. And it is very stable player numbers. Like, TF2's remained solid. But stability isn't what Valve wants. Valve doesn't want this. They want this. They don't want this. They want this. That's why they focus on Counter-Strike. That's why they focus on Dota. They want growth, not stagnation. No, yeah. So, like, from the number of unique people, like, I'm talking about active concurrent players, not the total number of people that have played TF2. The total number of people that have played TF2, in the millions, probably. But the number of concurrent players, maybe when the game went free to play, it was over 100,000. But beyond that, probably not. Why do you think the game needs an anti-cheat when bots could simply move to being kickbots? There's probably some kind of a workaround that could exist for that as well. I don't know what it would be. Has Valve always known most players were bots? Absolutely. Valve has the keys to the kingdom. They know everything that's going on behind the scenes. They knew this for years. Of course, they'll never publicly say this, because guess what'll happen? It'll kind of be like a nice kick to the dick, which unfortunately my video was, where, oh, we really don't have 100,000 people playing during holiday updates or like during the summer. Oh no, we actually have 30% of that. Right? That's gonna, you know, make the game look less popular than it really is. And therefore, not as good for the market. Like, you know, oh, if the game's not as popular, therefore I don't want to play it. Like, it's not that popular, I won't touch it. Because popularity is a factor for people engaging with the game. Like, oh yeah, have you heard about that new game? Go check it out. Lots of people play it. So. You freaking chud, you killed TF2. No, I didn't. TF2's largely had, I would say that, and I wish to God I had the data to look at this, but I suspect that I did this in my last stream, so I won't do it entirely again, but probably from the game going free to play up until 2016, TF2 probably had, I would say, 50,000 concurrent human players. And then after Meet Your Match came out and fucked over the game for a lot of people, then a lot of humans left and took us down to about 25 to 30,000 people. And then all of the access has been made up by more bots coming into the game, as Valve gradually started giving less of a shit. Yep, and it all goes back to Meet Your Match. It all goes back to Meet Your Match, man. That was the fucking catalyst, and that where everything just went downhill. And I am so glad more people are willing to acknowledge that. Thank God. I've been demonized for years for blaming competitive focus, for blaming steering games towards competitive gaming and esports. I've been demonized for saying that you shouldn't do that. Now more people are okay with demonizing what they did with TF2. I'm happy about that. Thank God. People are finally coming around. People who have been saying that TF2, like, even fucking Uncle Dane said in, like, 2016, 2017, that he said, there's gonna be an entire generation of players playing TF2 for the competitive mode. And even now, he is saying that TF2 is a casual game. Like, even he has, like, performed the paradigm shift and is circled back to, like, oh yeah, this really isn't a competitive game. About fucking time! Pity all the people who played TF2 after Meet Your Match, still can't forget Quickplay. Like, fucking, I know. And that's the thing, man, like, probably half of the people playing the game started playing after 2017, roughly. It's like 60-40, 60% before, 40% after. Somewhere around there. That's only data coming from my own audience, and I suspect that my videos and my content hits home with older players more so than newer players. So I'm probably more biased towards, like, the older players, but, like, if you did, like, a genuine poll of the entire player base, I'd say about half, if not more, started playing after Jungle Inferno. And after Meet Your Match. Overwatch unironically gave TF2 cancer. It was kind of before that. Valve started taking what was successful in Counter-Strike and started putting that inside of TF2. And also Dota. They realized that they had these massive titles with insane player bases, massive viewership, because they were competitive games. And when they would go to, like, the majors and these huge global tournaments, they were huge money makers for Valve. Massive money makers. And they thought to themselves, we can probably do that with TF2. But they didn't act on that right away. They started taking other elements from Counter-Strike and putting that in TF2 first. You know, campaigns, contracts, skins, picking up other people's weapons, that kind of thing. Those monetization elements, those came first. And they were relatively successful, because in my opinion, that kind of a system works a lot better for TF2, where something can rely on a more heavy but, you know, more appropriate theming for the game. And if Valve stuck with the campaign system and contract system for TF2, I think it would have been way more successful than steering it in the direction of matchmaking. Fuck. But they started doing that first. But then Overwatch was announced. Overwatch was announced, and Valve realized, oh, we need to ramp up the momentum for pushing for more esports, because we have two of the biggest ones in our back pocket. Why not three? And so you had people inside of Valve, newer employees, for example, Jill, working at Valve, kind of spearheading this idea that TF2 needs to be steered towards a competitive esports or a competitive esports direction. Sure enough, it almost killed the fucking game. So, and I have another video in the works that goes into a lot more grisly detail. Because not only is, like, the casual system fundamentally flawed, and you have all the actual technical issues with the system, but it is completely antithetical to TF2's design. And I don't think no one has properly articulated that yet. No one's done that in a video. Like they outline all of the technical problems and why it's broken and how it fucks up, but no one really strikes at the heart of the problem in that TF2 was not designed to be a competitive esport. And all of the competitive esports that are derived from TF2 are not TF2. They are homebrew versions of this game. I have not seen Lister's video about casual. We can watch it. We can do a live shitty reaction to a Lister video. And my fucking chat just froze. Whoops. Hello? Whoa, YouTube. Come on. Man, YouTube really needs to up their game on their interface. It lags to shit. It's a long video? Yeah, I won't watch it. If it's too long, then it'll be kind of boring for people. I won't do it. Thing is, yeah, but so I'm just gonna ask my chat because people have obviously already seen it. So, what does the video explain? Does it explain the technical problems or more like the game philosophy problems with the matchmaking system? What's the focus of the video? Is it the philosophy or like the actual mechanics of it? All right, fine. We'll watch it. We'll just watch it. Let's see what he has to say. Let me adjust the screen here. All right, let's see what he says.
TF2's official matchmaking system is broken. I'm not talking about bugs. Casual matchmaking actually works as intended the vast majority of the time. Other than the map vote bug that still isn't fixed. Please God, I don't want to go to Brazil. No, the issue is with how casual was intended to work in the first place. In other words, casual is fundamentally broken.
Okay.
It, as a result of many terrible design choices, fights tooth and nail to prevent you from enjoying TF2. All those
2 times speed.
stomps
Is your attention span that low where I have to go at 2 times speed? I don't know if that's a good idea. No, we're gonna go about this the normal way. We're gonna watch it normally. Oops, go back.
Casual mode, TF2 and nail to prevent you from enjoying TF2.
I'm curious to see what he has to say.
One-sided stomps, or the times you were put into a match right as it was ending, or the absurd amount of time you spend not even playing the game. These are all issues that are...
So I'm super curious if he's gonna hit home on why the system breaks. I'm
largely
because I know
the casual itself. TF2 has always been a chaotic game. 24 players is a lot for a single server, especially considering the many different playstyles and skill levels each of those players might have. Then there's all of the different game modes. Some matches can end within minutes, others can last for over an hour, and others still are theoretically infinite.
See, and this is why Counter-Strike uses a ranking for different maps. Not even just different game modes, but different maps. So they can, because player interactions are so strictly different on different maps that they have to be rated differently, right? Yeah, 24 play. So think about this, right? In the context of modern games for matchmaking, what's the average team size? 5, 6, half or less than what you see inside of your typical TF2 server. For a matchmaking system, to put that many people of an equivalent skill level takes a lot longer.
So many possible ways for a game to play out, with none of those possibilities making everyone happy. For me personally, I don't want to be deadlocked in a stalemate, or stuck with a team that insists on running 5 spies. The crux of the issue, however, is that there's no universal agreement on what the ideal match of TF2 even looks like. I might be frustrated
That
by
is
those
very
5
true.
spies on my team, while they're out in their own little worlds and have
No, yeah, that is very true, because the game is specifically designed to cater to the individual player's experience to allow them to engage with the game and other players however the fuck they want. There are no strict rules as to how the game is meant to be played, right? Whereas in a game like Counter-Strike, for example, the primary focus is the end goal towards the, like, to plant the bomb or to defuse the bomb and kill the other players, right? Whereas in TF2, there's a bunch of different ways someone can engage with the game. Yes, it is micro-focused on the individual's experience. And that is direct Valve developer commentary, by the way.
having a blast. I find Dust Bowl stalemates boring, but others find them comfy. So what was Valve's solution to this issue? They shook that shit up. Back in 2007, when TF2 first launched, the only way to play was with player-run community servers.
I'm glad someone else is putting that piece of information out into the mainstream more. People keep forgetting that when TF2 launched, you only had community servers. There were no Valve servers.
Vanilla servers generally followed the default server settings that Valve had put in place. Upon loading a map for the first time, a 45-minute timer would start. Throughout that time, there was no limit to how many rounds could be played.
The 4x3.
Players could freely spectate and
the
switch
4x3.
teams. They could call for team scrambles.
Oh, it brings back
And
memories.
Typically, team scrambles would happen automatically if one team won too often. Lobbies naturally evened out over those 45 minutes, which meant it was usually in a player's best interest to stay. If one particular round wasn't...
I said this in my hot takes video. Scrambling works because generally the number of points accrued on both teams and then scrambling them to be roughly even, it kind of evens out all the skill levels on both teams. Meticulously trying to, like, calculate how good a player is and then placing them exactly against other players is antithetical to how TF2 is meant to work. And it results in an objectively worse experience.
Balanced or fun, there was a reasonable chance that the next one would be. Fast forward to 2016, and all of this would change with a single update. Meet Your Match. This was the update that dropped the old Quickplay system in favor of casual mode, a matchmaking system that, unlike Quickplay, would...
Was anyone here on day one? Does anyone remember day one of this shit? Like, oh my god, I vividly remember the update dropping and then for like 2 weeks not being able to play on Valve servers because of how fucking broken it was. It was awful. I just stopped playing TF2 for a little while because the normal community servers that I went into were all fucking dead because Quickplay stopped putting people inside of community servers. Just, it was horribly broken. Ugh.
only put players into Valve servers. That's not all though, because with the introduction of casual, Valve also completely revamped how their servers operated in a blatant attempt to give TF2 a more competitive feel. 2016 was around the time that esport hype was at its peak, with Overwatch being released just a few months before Meet Your Match, to universal acclaim. Maybe Valve wanted to change TF2 to keep up with the times.
Yes, they did. That was the specific reason. It was being spearheaded by a small handful of people inside of Valve that were not the original fucking developers. Because you had new younger blood coming in and demanding that TF2 need to be steered in this direction in order to remain competitive with the new wave of esports-oriented shooters, hero shooters. Just, oh, it makes me so mad. Oh god, it makes me so fucking mad. Like, this is like rekindling like repressed rage at Valve when this shit was all happening.
Or maybe they had dollar signs in their eyes after their success with CSGO and Dota 2.
Yes, that was
whatever
another
their reasons
factor.
were, Valve's tampering with TF2's already perfected formula immediately blew up in their faces. From day one, casual was widely despised by players for a long list of reasons.
Yes.
You couldn't switch teams. Team scrambles were removed. There was no auto balance. The old map timer...
It stayed that way for years. The lack of scramble, lack of balance and shit, it stayed that way for like the first year and a half until 2018. And we wonder why people were leaving in droves.
was dropped for a best 2 out of 3 system. You'd be hit with a 10-minute cooldown for leaving a match, and so on.
Okay, so to be fair, they removed that after the first day. Like, that, but that was also like a willful decision. Think about that. There was a willful decision to punish players for leaving a casual game and give them a 10-minute cooldown. Someone working on this thought that was the right way to go. Can you fucking believe that? Oh my god. And they turned that off the next day because people were so fucking pissed. Can you believe... Like, that alone proves that whoever was spearheading this and working on it had no idea what game they were handling. And were so out of touch with why people enjoyed TF2 that it ended up... It resulted in this absolute fucking disaster. Insane.
The rationale behind these changes was laughably transparent. Valve clearly wanted casual to be this epic, intense, competitive environment. Everyone's gotta stay on the same teams. Everyone's gotta stay until the end. Otherwise, it wouldn't be competitive. One team has to definitively win, and one team has to definitively lose. Following Meet Your Match, Valve...
TF2 was designed where the individual player can seek out their own experience and engage with the game that they enjoy, so no matter if you win or lose, you still had a satisfying experience. Winning was placed third with TF2. Winning was put third, not first. Making the game feel good to play was put first, and enjoying interplayer interactions. The objective is kind of an afterthought. But then, like... I hope he says that. I hope he points out that philosophy. It doesn't seem like he's going to. He's just kind of hitting it on the surface level.
Slowly reverted some of their worst decisions, like the 10-minute cooldown and lack of autobalance.
Yeah, thank you.
But even now, nearly a decade after its introduction, casual is still far from perfect. First
it never
and
will be.
foremost, once the matchmaker has found the game for you, you're automatically placed onto a team before you load into the server. Sounds innocent enough, until you realize this means players who haven't even loaded in yet are considered to be part of your team. Teams can look balanced to the matchmaker, when in reality, it's a 6v12 because half of my team is away from their computer doing...
And to be fair, usually, because you have like the startup timer, it gives enough time for like the people who are at their computers to get in. But yeah, the problem with this is you do have people who are AFK, and there's nothing you can do, right?
Who knows?
Like there's no scramble or shit to kind of even out the problem.
What? And God forbid someone's game crashes, because the matchmaker will reserve their empty slot for minutes.
Yeah,
even once everyone finally connects,
it sucks.
It's
so
usually
bad.
too late. The team that started with more players has Uber advantage, sentries built, sticky traps laid, banners built, points already captured, etc. This was never an issue until casual.
Yeah, and that results in what I'm assuming he's about to say are steamrolls. And that's why pretty much, like, I would say 60 to 70% of the games I get into inside of casual are just an ongoing steamroll, and that's not fun. You're not going into an actively engaging and fun match where you can dive in and kind of contribute. You're just getting your shit pushed in. And so what does that make you do? It makes you want to leave and not stick around, and it just keeps exacerbating the problem.
It was literally impossible for teams to be unbalanced from the very start of the round, because before casual, you picked your own team, and only once you successfully loaded in. Not to worry though, Valve tried to fix this issue that they created by forcing those that made it into the server to wait up to 150 seconds for everyone else. Yep, after waiting to get into a match, you need to wait over 2 more minutes before the round actually starts. This doesn't even fix the issue, by the way, because in nearly every game I play...
Where pub stop's not a thing with Quickplay, they were far less prevalent, right? Because because auto scramble and team scramble was a thing. So you could stack the team, but then it would get scrambled up. You could still switch teams, but it would also put other good players back on the other losing team. So it was a far less prevalent issue before the matchmaker.
At least one person who's still AFK, even after the pre-round timer, which often means one team is forced to start at a disadvantage. Again,
oh, there's a donation, sorry. You know what the worst part was? There were several beta tests for competitive mode. Casual wasn't revealed until the day of the update. I know! They had beta testers coming in for the 6v6 competitive version of the game, but no one had any idea that this casual matchmaking system was being rolled out. Like, again, this reinforces again. Whoever was working on this was painfully tone deaf. to why people engage with TF2. They saw like competitive 6v6 and go, oh yeah, that's the future. That's what people come to TF2 for, is this highly more fast-paced, more engaging, winning is the focus experience.
None of
Like, they obviously didn't do their fucking homework and like even just listen to the developer commentary as to why they made the game behave the way it does.
this was an issue before casual. But with casual being designed as a skill-based matchmaking system, teams need to be pre-selected by the matchmaker to try forming evenly skilled teams. Originally, the only metric casual's matchmaking used to determine a player's skill level was their experience. But in the Blue Moon update of 2018, casual was given a glyco system
It made
that
no
works,
difference.
quote, behind the scenes to better create balanced
And it's literally
matches
no
and
difference.
group players
Swapping
by
to a
skill
glyco
level.
system.
Yeah, balanced matches my ass. TF2 is a uniquely terrible choice for any MMR system, because an MMR rating only makes sense for players that are consistently playing the same way.
Hey, thank you. I just mouthed it. Players consistently doing the same thing. It only works when all of the players are doing the exact same thing. That's why it works in chess, because the same players are limited to the same moves and the same pieces. It's why it works in Counter-Strike, because they're limited to the same guns and motions and locations over and over again. It's not perfect in Counter-Strike, right? Because Counter-Strike also uses some derivative of a glyco system. But it doesn't work in TF2 because so many different people are doing so many different things that you cannot funnel everything. I said this in my fucking in my hot takes video. You can't funnel all of these different things into a simplified matchmaker. It just will break. 500 hours on Spy is not the same as 500 hours on Scout. One person can play Pyro for their entire fucking career or Spy for their entire fucking career and not touch any of the other classes, and yet they're all being equated at the same level. It's insanity.
How, for example, are you supposed to rank someone that usually plays to win and pub stomps, but sometimes likes to dick around as Trollger? Never mind the fact that TF2 matches are a chaotic 24-player clusterfuck, which muddies up any attempts by an MMR system to give an objective rating to your performance.
Yes.
Your MMR in TF2 is meaningless, which means teams in casual are effectively chosen at random.
Yes.
Much like the Quickplay servers that preceded casual.
Yes.
But since the
He is
matchmaker
saying the exact same shit that I have been saying for years. I have been saying this for years. Quickplay is exactly the same as fucking casual mode, except it's worse. It's the exact same random amalgamation of players, except they removed the means by which the teams can be evened out over time. Fuck!
decides who's on what team before people even load in, one-sided stomps in casual are even more likely by regularly forcing teams to start at a numerical disadvantage. Know what else makes stomps more likely? Parties. This might be controversial, but I think allowing up to 6 friends to play on the same team does more harm than good.
I agree. I think it was a bad thing to remove ad hoc connections where you can just simply dive into the same server. And also, friends like playing against each other, and that's not even an option unless you get forcefully scrambled over to the other team, right? Like, people like playing against each other, and they like having the freedom of choice to play with or against each other. And it was like it was almost like a 50-50 split back in the day, where if I was playing with a friend, we'd either play together or against each other and like fuck around and have fun. That's just not even an option anymore. Unless you go into a community server. It's just... yeah.
For casual, playing on the same team
that the feature of being able to play on opposite teams is coming in the future. It's been coming soon for like 6 years.
1 or 2 of your friends was fine. But having a large group of friends on one team was called team stacking, and was generally frowned upon, since such a group could easily dominate any server. It wasn't a huge deal though, because Quickplay era servers split team stacks up via team scrambles. Still, if you and your friends got separated by a scramble, it wasn't hard to get 2 or 3 friends back together, since anyone could freely switch teams.
Just saying what I just said!
To keep everyone together when trying to play with a large group, which is a good thing. With casual, you can't switch teams or scramble them to even the playing field. The only thing the matchmaker does to try and solve the team stacking issue is prioritize pitting large parties against other large parties.
And that leads to longer queue times. And also bots.
nothing, but it ignores the fact that not all parties are equal. The team with the party of average Joes is going to get stomped by the team with the literal comp stack 9 times out of 10. And without team scrambles or the ability to switch teams, if the first round is a one-sided stomp,
time is a flat circle. Time is a flat fucking circle. I will admit this. I am bitter. I am bitter that this is now an acceptable piece of discourse. That now this is acceptable opinions. And when I was saying this shit years ago, I'm demonized. Oh, you just hate competitive players. You just want these people to die. You're just a mean person. Oh my god. I say it with a slightly elevated emotional state, the exact same shit, and I'm a demon! Fuck!
Round 2 is almost guaranteed to be the same. Why stay for that? Many people don't. They'd rather re-queue with the hopes of being put into a balanced game, making getting pub stomped a second time even more likely for those that stay. Sure,
that's my autism.
The matchmaker might find new players to fill those empty slots, but those slots will effectively remain empty until each player loads in, preventing autobalance from doing its job and fixing the unbalanced teams immediately like it's supposed to.
Honestly, Highlander is better 6v6. You can run all my god, the fucking dashboard is lagging to hell. You can run all sorts of weapons, one of each class, including Spy, and it still feels like TF2. Yeah, it's still closer to TF2, but the fact that you're locked into the fact you have the class restriction of 1 per team and item whitelist, it still restricts people away from what TF2 is meant to be, where players can do whatever the fuck they want, however the fuck they want. That's your cup of tea, then by means go play it. But it's by no means the direction that TF2 should have been taken in. And also he says, you also can't do Highlander with a matchmaker. Comp TF2 needs to stay organized outside of Valve. Matchmaking is a mistake. Amen. And it's also funny because all of the means by which competitive teams are sorted it all feels kind of arbitrary. Where like you have like, oh, this person is now invite for X reason, or this person is now intermediate for X reason, and what have you, right? It's all very strangely arbitrary. Or like someone who's good at Scout is allowed to play Scout in this skill bracket, but in this skill bracket they're not allowed because they're too good or too bad, right? It's fucking weird how it's determined.
Then, after getting stomped twice in a row, that's it. Every Valve server goes straight to the map vote as soon as a team wins twice, or after 2 rounds on attack, defend, or payload. Sometimes this ends up taking about as long as with the old 45-minute timer, but other times, especially on King of the Hill and 5CP, a lobby might last for only 10 minutes or less. Alright, no big deal. I'll just wait until the map changes and I can go right back to playing.
Nope.
Wait, why is everyone leaving? Are they done playing for the night?
Here we go, finally.
Nope. They're re-queuing to get into a new server, even though they're already in one.
And here's the problem, right? There was no finality, right? I wonder if he'll say this. There was no finality when it came to playing TF2. It would just start again. The whole round ends, blue team, red team, team swap, and then it would just do it again. Or the server would just automatically change the map. Whenever you introduce this kind of a scorecard at the end of a match, it tells players, pack it up, time to go home, no reason to stay here, right? Quickplay didn't have this sense of finality, and that didn't encourage people to leave after a round was over. They would stick around because they had fun in the previous game, so they'll keep going and doing it again. It was the perfect gameplay loop that would happen over and over again. And Valve demolished it with the casual system.
Why? Because they, like you and I, just want to play the video game. And to achieve that, it's actually faster to re-queue. If you stay, you need to wait half a minute staring at the scoreboard, then wait as the next map loads in, then wait another 2 minutes because of the pre-round timer.
Yep.
Even if the same map is voted again, the map that's already loaded in, the server still boots everyone out to load the map in again. Why? Back in the Quickplay era, voting to extend the current map did exactly that. It simply added more time to the 45-minute timer.
Yeah, you weren't waiting so long, and again, there was no finality to it. You can just get right back into playing.
Casual's garbage design incentivized players to do so. This was not a thing before casual. And because lots of players suddenly leave the server at the map vote, That means lots of other players are put into the server after the match has already ended. These are players that had to wait to be put into the server in the first place, wait for the map to load, then wait staring at the scoreboard for a game that they didn't play.
See, this is why I hate most modern games. Because I spend more time waiting to engage with the game I want to play than actually playing the game. It's why I hate battle royales. It's why I hate modern competitive games as well. I spend more time waiting to actually play the game to then get my shit pushed in and go realize, oh, this is a bad game, and then re-queue for another. And 2/3 of my time is spent waiting. And then by the time I finally get to a good game, it's such a small morsel of enjoyment for me that I'm like, why did I even bother with this? And then I go back to TF2 and play inside of a community server. Because it's that constant gameplay loop of where I am having fun. Oh god, my YouTube thing, everything on YouTube just froze. Oh god. Oh? Did it just... Wow, YouTube just cannot handle streaming today. Everything is lagging to shit. There we go. Anyways.
Then wait to load the next map. Then wait for the 2-minute pre-rounds timer to finally play in a match that may not even be populated enough to be playable by that point.
You're hungry for a meal. Food analogy. You're hungry for a meal. Option 1. You can have a cheeseburger right now. It's right there waiting for you. You can have a bite and sate your hunger. Or you can wait 10 minutes and then you can take a bite. Which option are you going to choose? I choose option 1. I'm hungry and I want to play right now. I don't want to wait 10 minutes and have the food stare at me in the face. That makes no sense. Why would I engage with that meal when I can have the better option right before me? It's by no means a skill issue. It makes no sense.
It's honestly impressive how effective casual is at wasting your time. Playing casual is like an elaborate game of musical chairs. Everyone constantly re-queuing and waiting in hopes of getting into a fun, balanced server, which, if you're lucky enough to find, you get to enjoy for maybe 30 minutes tops before everyone leaves at the...
Just play on community servers. If you guys don't play on community servers already, just go play there. Go play on mine. I have my server. Entirely vanilla. Functions exactly like it did back in 2010. That's it. Go play there if you want normal TF2. Don't engage with the fucking matchmaking system. Fucking awful.
Map
or other community servers of your choice. Go to my website, zestyjesus.com. There's my server.
To start the cycle all over again. Seriously, the next time you play...
Even though you're skinny now, you have the soul of a fat guy, especially with that food analogy, yeah. The fat man in me will never go away. Having once been a fat man, food is always on the mind. But I have developed the mechanisms by which I can stave off the cravings and remain strong-ish. I mean, I'm skinny, but, you know.
Casual, take note of just how much of your time is being wasted. Take note of how often one team is at a major disadvantage because players that haven't loaded in yet are hogging up slots. Take note of how many matches are unfun, one-sided stomps. Take note of how often you need to queue and re-queue and load maps and stare at scoreboards. And my god, I haven't even gotten to the...
Yeah.
It's no secret that casual is infested with both bots and human cheaters. This is because casual is played exclusively on unmoderated Valve servers. Their only line of defense is VAC anti-cheat, which barely works. And when it does work, bot hosters and cheaters can simply make new Steam accounts. But a big part of why cheaters can effortlessly ruin casual is that every single change made to Valve servers back in 2016 was beneficial to cheaters. It's no coincidence that the first instances of botted accounts swarming servers were in the days after casual's introduction, long before the source...
I think like day 2 or 3 after Meet Your Match launched, we immediately had bot lobbies. That's how fast it happened. And that shows right there that, like, that's the proof in the pudding. Proof's in the pudding that Meet Your Match directly facilitated the bot problem. And then it just got worse from there.
Code leak of 2020 that many incorrectly attribute to the start of bots. Bots and cheaters are at their weakest when servers are full of normal players and those players are staying in the server. If one player leaves and a blatant cheater takes their spot, they get kicked instantly. But as I've explained, most casual servers are not like this.
Nope, they're
Players
empty.
are constantly leaving because it's in their best interest to do so, meaning servers are constantly at risk of cheaters flooding in. Getting rid of one cheater only takes a few
Yeah,
seconds.
Meet Your Match was 8 years ago, so the bot problem has been happening since 2016. It just became a lot worse after the source code got leaked in 2000... When was it? 2020? Refresh my memory. When was the source code leaked? I think it was 2020. Around 2019, 2020. And then once the source code leaked, it just got way, way, way worse. Somewhere around there. 2020, thank you. Yeah. And then it just took off from there. It was fucking exponential.
2, 3, or 4 cheaters all at once? That's gonna take a few minutes. You know what takes less than a few minutes? Re-queuing and hoping to land into a bot-free server,
Yep.
putting the server you're leaving at an even greater risk of getting overrun by
Did
bots.
bots exist before Meet Your Match? Not really, because there wasn't an incentive to run them. Because joining servers ad hoc would not always guarantee success, because the server would already be filled with mostly humans. So they could probably get 1, maybe 2 bots in there, but then it would get immediately kicked. So it's not worth it to these mentally ill fucks to host this many bots when they're going to have basically 0 impact. But as is being outlined quite nicely by Lister here, the matchmaking system directly facilitates them being allowed to enter servers very easily and en masse. So no, bots were basically non-existent before Meet Your Match. There was a non-zero amount of them, but not like tiny amounts of them compared to what we have now. You mostly had just cheaters back then. And like he said, you could just kick them out if they found their way into your game. And cheaters back in the day mostly hung out inside of their own servers and did like, you know, hack versus hack all the time and shit. I very rarely remember actually playing against cheaters inside of TF2 before Meet Your Match. But then once, you know, the system came in, all of that completely went out the window.
Bots. In addition to removing
No, yeah, as soon as Meet Your Match came out, that was just all downhill.
the ability to switch teams, Casual also removed spectating, which was a valuable tool for watching over suspect players and catching cheaters. Then,
Yeah, that was another means of self-moderation that Valve went like, yeah, bye-bye, we don't want this. Because in competitive games, you're not allowed to do that. Because that would give you an unfair advantage, and we can't have that if we want TF2 to be an esport. No, sir. Ugh.
there's cheater parties. I don't know how Valve thought this was a good idea, but anyone can be 100% immune from being kicked by queuing with a full party of 6 friends, assuming your friends don't vote to kick you. Vote kicks need at least 60% yes votes to go through, so they'll always fail against a party member because half of the team is the party. Not only do Casual's flaws make cheaters more powerful, but cheaters also make Casual's flaws even more aggravating. Every time you go to queue, you have to not
Also,
only
yeah,
hope for
rest
a
in
game
peace
that's
the coaching
relatively
system.
balanced, and
For
not
sure.
only hope that you aren't being put into a game right before the map changes and the server dies, but you also have to hope you don't land in a cheater-infested server. And even if you're lucky and get placed into a full cheater-free match, you're on a ticking timer, as all it takes is a few players rage quitting or people...
No, I don't think this video is going to change my video at all, because like I suspected, and much like his previous video talking about Meet Your Match and what have you, he's really striking at the more of like the very evident service level problems, like just like the functionality and the flaws behind why this doesn't work. He doesn't really touch on the philosophy of why TF2 is not a competitive game, and why it was not designed to be a competitive game, and how a matchmaker would have never worked in the first place. He's not really saying that. He's kind of hitting on like, you know, here's all the dents in the car and like the flat tire, but we're not going to talk about why it's like a fucking Maserati body put over a Ford engine, right?
Requeuing at the map vote for cheaters to flood in and drive all the normal players out, putting you right back at square one. Casual, in its current state, is an awful fit for TF2.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to stay that way. If there were, say, some hypothetical movement to repair TF2, then fixing casual is something that we as a community should be discussing and demanding from Valve in addition to the bot problem. But what exactly should we push for? Here are my proposed changes to casual.
If he says anything short of total reversal back to quick play, I disagree. If he says short of total reversal back to quick play, I completely disagree. This system should not be in the game at all.
Slash the 150-second pre-round timer down to 30 seconds. Only reserve slots for players if they're in a party. Solo queuers pick their team upon loading in. Get rid of
No, I disagree with that. Everyone should be allowed to pick their team. Why would you restrict some? Like, here's the thing, right? You need to have that option there for people that want to play together to also have the option to be on opposite teams.
Best 2 out of 3 system and revert it back to the old 45-minute map timer. Bring back auto team scrambles in some capacity. Note that last one, I'm not suggesting we let people call for a vote to scramble the teams whenever, since that was incredibly exploitable. I'm only talking about the automatic team scramble that the server forced whenever one team won too many times.
Obviously bring that back.
Or it could be a new system that, for example, automatically calls a vote for a scramble when one team wins too much and there's a major difference in points between the teams. Anyways, let players freely switch teams and spectate again.
Okay, there we go. So
if the same map...
Never mind, he says this is a thing, so good.
...is voted again, don't boot everyone out. Just scramble the teams, reset the map timer, and go right back to playing.
So what's the difference between this and quick play? I'm failing to see the difference here.
It might be proven wrong in the comments, but I really can't...
Aside from allowing people to party together, what's the difference between this and quick play? So he seems to be suggesting just bring back quick play. So now I agree.
Imagine many people objecting to these changes. There'd be more freedom, more balanced games, and more reasons for people to stay in a server and keep it populated. Beyond what I've just listed out, I've got another potential change that I'm very on the fence about. Not automatically putting parties on the same team anymore. On one hand, this would probably lead to more balanced games, and definitely help against cheater parties. I see nothing wrong with that, honestly. But on the
then if they eventually want to switch teams back to play with each other, then they can.
Other hand, I know a lot of people would be upset by this. I don't know. I'm just going to add this to the list.
No, because they're not really. Because if they have the option to go back to their friend's team, I don't see that being a problem.
As a maybe. Some of you might also be wondering why I haven't brought up ad hoc connections. Before casual, all Valve servers showed up on the server browser and could be joined from there.
Yep.
It was great. But I don't know if it'd be possible for this to return without screwing up casual's matchmaking, since it was...
We don't need matchmaking. Just put quick play back. The matchmaking system doesn't work anyways, like you said. It just puts people randomly against each other. So why is it there? We don't need this. Just bring back quick play.
Was never designed to account for ad hoc connections. This can be another maybe. Like it'd be
no,
cool
that's what
if
it. No. That's not a maybe. It's what it should be.
Had a separate tab for Valve servers. I just don't know enough about programming to say whether this is even possible without completely reworking casual. But that's where you all come in. What do you think needs to be changed about casual? Obviously,
total reversion back to quick play. The only thing that they should keep is this: allow people to select their maps. Beyond that, bring back quick play. Nothing else should be changed. Simple as that. And also let people queue together in the same party. Allow people to queue in the same party. Allow people to select their maps. Beyond that, put quick play back. That's all that needs to be done. Hey, pretty good video. Like this is good. It outlines all of the obvious technical problems, you know, that the matchmaking system has. I really wish that he would have touched on the philosophy problems with how it's completely antithetical to TF2's design. Why TF2 is not a competitive game. I don't think anyone has successfully made a video about that yet without, you know, kind of deriving into like autistic ranting or just like screaming at the viewer. I'm guilty of that. My video of TF2 isn't competitive. I need to like redo that entirely. It's a shitty video. But yeah, no one's done that yet, and I will do that. That's the plan. So yeah, good video. Good shit. Nice work. Shonik did that video, kind of. He just kind of replayed the developer commentary and didn't really kind of touch on why. Like, because this is the thing, man. Not enough people understand that, like, the competitive spheres of TF2 are not Team Fortress 2. They are completely different games. They use the same characters, they use the same guns, but the interplayer interactions, the class limits, the weapon bans, the tiny map pool, players not being able to play how they want, doing whatever the fuck they want, where they want, how they want, that's entirely antithetical to how TF2 plays. And to assume that TF2 should have been steered in any direction that appeases that is asinine. And not enough people were saying that. And not enough people have said that yet. People won't even address the issue and just get defensive. Well, oh yeah, because that's what they did to me. They just say, oh, you hate competitive players and want them to die and you want to bully people. No. Obviously, that's not what I wanted to do. I just don't want to see TF2 bastardized into something it isn't. Man, what is happening with my YouTube dash? YouTube is just really... I think the dashboard just can't handle this many messages. I'm fully convinced. Everything is frozen. I can't even look at donations. I'm sorry. I blame YouTube. I would read the messages that have come in, but nothing is working. I'm really sorry. I'm not a game designer. I'm just speaking from common sense. As someone who's been playing this game for, you know, almost half his lifespan, like, I think I understand what this game is meant to be and how it's meant to be played. And to see it fucking ruined by Valve with matchmaking, it's a fucking crime. Not literally a crime, but to me it's a spiritual crime. It's an emotional crime. It would be funny because Valve, here's the thing, Valve doesn't even need a functioning anti-cheat. All they need to do, bring back Quickplay. That's all they need to do. Seriously. Revert back to Quickplay, and then the game would be fine. That would probably take a lot less work than making a functioning anti-cheat. Isn't that sad? That's probably all it would take to infinitely improve the experience of people engaging with TF2 is just to revert Quickplay. It would knock out the botting problem for the reasons that Lister described, because they would not be able to fill up a server that's already mostly comprised of humans. They would just stay inside of their own servers. They can't re-queue as entire parties. They'd have to just get lucky and get plopped into a server that happens to have an open slot, and then they would get kicked immediately. It would no longer be beneficial for these people to bot, because the system wouldn't be there that would automatically facilitate it. Just, oh my god, it's insane how everything goes back to this one fucking update. See, it kind of makes me wish that the organizers of, like, of Save TF2, like, talked with me, or Fix TF2 talked with me, because maybe I could have put that idea in their heads, like, hey, functioning anti-cheat's probably too much to ask for, and Valve won't want to do that. Maybe just turn off the matchmaker, put it back to how it used to be, and the problem would go away. It's less work. Perhaps that could have been a focal point. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. Ugh. Valve is too prideful to admit that they messed up big time with Meet Your Match. At this stage, who gives a fuck? The people who worked on that aren't there anymore, nor do they care. No, like, again, I'll state again, I was completely in the dark on the Fix TF2 thing. I had no idea it was happening. This was entirely within, like, their own friend circle level of organization. It was, I had no idea what was going on until they let the cat out of the bag. So. Crazy shit. Listen. No one likes the state of the game. You would be hard pressed to find a single player that is satisfied with the state of the game. It's not there. Do I still agree with my short circuit rework where it randomly redirects projectiles? No, I think it's a bad idea. I still think the short circuit just needs to be reworked short of total deletion from the game because it fucking sucks to play against. I will stand by that for eternity that the weapon just does not belong in the game. But no, that idea of it randomly redirecting projectiles is bad. Is fixed TF2 even working? I don't think it will. I hope it does. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it does something. But as I said earlier in the stream, people are not doing what needs to be done. They're not hitting Valve where it hurts. They're not saying what needs to be said enough, right? They're not taking enough of this to Valve's doorstep. They need to be and if people weren't here earlier, go downvote the game on Steam. If you review bomb the game, that's bringing things to Valve's doorstep. It's putting it on their platform. Because on social media, they can just ignore everything. Because if someone else's house is burning down over there and it's not theirs, they can just ignore it. But if the flames are on their porch, oh, now they have to acknowledge it and understand and realize, oh, people are upset. And they can just ignore this, right? And then deprive them of their primary goal, which is your money. They don't see this. They don't listen to us. They don't care about all the tweets and all of the emotional unrest, all of the disdain floating around out there. They don't care. They don't read that. The only thing they see is this. This is all they see. Don't give them this. That is the best way to communicate with a fucking company. Do not give them what they're looking for from you, because they don't care what you say. They want your money. As of right now, 77% of recent reviews are negative. Good. It could be lower. It could be 100%. Anything short of 100% is not good enough, in my opinion. It should be 100% downvoted, just because of how fucking awful of a state the game is in. Anything short of 100% downvotes in the past however many days is not enough. Can I save the stream? Yeah, the VOD's gonna stay up, don't worry. Fixed TF2 is about playing the long game. Yes, it is. And that's also why the social media stuff's not going to work. Because it's going to amount to yet another flash in the pan. Because social media, everything on social media is very temporary. You know, the relevancy cycle things go through is very short. A week from now, this is not going to have the same level of gusto that it did yesterday or today. It's going to be done and over. And the most consistent, tangible act you can do is deprive Valve of this. If you're not giving them this, this lasts a lot longer than a tweet does. Not giving them this lasts a lot longer than a video does. Because a lack of money lasts longer. I think the only people who benefit from the social media tactic are the bot hosters themselves that are crying for attention. Yeah, basically. I mean, it does help to get more people on board, but if you have all these people on board that are not doing what needs to be done, in my opinion, then what's the point? Why are these people keep spamming the same thing over and over again? Like, I don't understand what do you want me to acknowledge? What do you mean? What do you mean it can't 100% because bots? That means nothing to me. Like, well, where's the rest of your context there? With the Quickplay system, couldn't bots fill up servers while people are offline to make it so they're unkickable when people come back online? Then do you realize how many bots would need to be created to fill up every single Valve server? A lot more than the resources these people have. So that wouldn't happen. Which video of Wheezy's are you referring to? I don't know, so stop spamming it. Valve literally owns Steam. They're just going to cut their losses and close TF2. And I already explained why they won't close TF2. Why would Valve suddenly be willing to incur a $10 to $15 million loss and sow instability in all of their other gaming markets if they shut down the microeconomy that fathered all microeconomies, right? How would that reflect on Counter-Strike and Dota? Uh-oh, all of these items we own aren't actually real. And they just turn TF2 off at the flip of a switch? How do you think it's going to reflect on their multi-billion-dollar business that is Counter-Strike? Come on. It's completely illogical for them just to turn off TF2. They're fucked. I realize I have music here. There we go. No, yeah, I think I agree. I think I've said most of everything that needs to be said, and at this point I'm kind of just repeating myself. And it's not bad that I'm repeating myself, it's good that I'm repeating myself, because it needs to be said over and over again consistently. Why haven't people outside the TF2 sphere talked about this yet? Because they don't care. Why would Apple fans care what Orange fans are doing? They don't care about Orange, they care about apples. They don't give a fuck. They're too busy eating oranges. We like apples, but there's worms in our apples. How does this affect Orange consumers? The only people that this is going to touch are people that care about TF2, play TF2, or have a monetary incentive to talk about it. Like the flavor of the minute YouTube channels that make like 1 or 2 videos a day about current events and current social media relevant topics and what have you. Food analogies are easy. Everyone understands food. Everyone eats. Everyone is hungry. Am I going to make more servers in the future? If my North America server remains populated more consistently, then yes, I will make a European server. Because right now it's not worth it for me to have 2 servers if I can't even keep 1 populated. So, if people play on my server more often, then I will. Fixed TF2 is kind of a free grift. Well, yeah, sure, there's probably a non-zero number of people that are using the movement to grift. That does happen. It's no surprise to anyone. Is it the majority of people? No, I don't think so. Mostly smaller people that do it. Just like last time, mostly smaller people engaging in the grift. No, yeah, I do need to advertise my server more often. I'm gonna do that from now on. I'll make sure to mention it every time I stream. I'll mention it every time I do a video. I'm just gonna put that there. Put it out there. Come play on my server. It is a thing. What's the most realistic outcome? Do you see everything happening on Twitter with the delivering the names? If it's just the delivering of the names and all the stuff on Twitter, Valve can just ignore it and go back to working on Deadlock, because it's all things that can be very easily ignored. No, yeah, I have all the money to run a second one, but I don't want to be burning the money if the server won't be filled. I'd rather redirect that money into making other videos. It costs like maybe 30 bucks a month, 40 bucks a month to run a decent server in Europe in a relatively good location. So, with DDoS protection. And I would rather redirect that money back into another video before I put that into another server, because I need to have a tangible feedback of yes, the server will be populated. Otherwise, it's just burning money. Yeah, just go to my website. I'll type it in chat. I can't type because YouTube is freezing. Wow. This is so laggy. You guys should see this. YouTube, please. This is truly something. Let me just try this. I can't even... I'm trying to copy and paste as fast as I can, but it's lagging so much. I said similar things on my streams, and Monkey's message is gone. Jesus. And I can't scroll up because it freezes. I'm sorry. I should probably do a slow mode, shouldn't I? I think that makes more sense. Next time I'll be sure to do a slow mode on my chat so things aren't lagging so hard. Is there a ping limit? No, there's not a ping limit. Oh, Wheezy's video on how we can save TF2? Oh, yeah, I watched it. I think a bigger emphasis needs to be put on on a real financial boycott. I think that's the angle that needs to be taken. So, anyways, I'm gonna start winding down. I think I've said everything that needs to be said, so we can just hang out for a few more minutes. We'll hang out. We'll wind things down for like another 20 minutes or so. Let's chill for a bit. I'll just say now, thank you to everyone for hanging out and for all the donations today. I really appreciate it. I think this time around with this other movement, there's been a lot of good progress. I think a lot more people have the right mindset to when it comes to approaching a problem like this for any video game in general being handled by a company. It could have obviously been done better. I don't see this persisting beyond a week, but we'll see. Hopefully it does. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. But, who knows? Also, if people want notifications for when I go live, join the Discord that's linked in the description below. You can't talk in there, but you can get announcements for when I go live or whenever I upload a video. So if you're interested in that, go join that Discord. Would I consider going to Valve HQ if the protest happened, or is it too far? Like, doing something in person is inherently not a bad idea. The problem is that you're gonna have bad actors that show up that are gonna completely undermine the whole thing. And that's honestly just out of the good people's control. Right? And that's why I don't want to, like, condone that. Because there will always be some fucking idiot that's gonna show up and, like, throw a Molotov at Valve's window or something. So... Pretty sure we will only see consequences of fixed TF2 in the crate releases. I agree, man. I still say don't buy the summer case, don't buy the keys, don't unbox whatever they give us. Just don't do it. Don't do it, man. You spent $15 to say that you're uploading a video detailing my opinions on the UFR livestream. Well, maybe you'll get a lot of views. Great success to you, sir. Frankly, I don't care. If you think it won't work, then by all means, feel free to say however you want it to. Yeah, don't buy a thing, I say. Find it where the other TF2 YouTubers who don't like you talk about how your video helped show the bot issue but don't include you. Just strange to me. Well, remember, they can't be seen associating with me. I am, you know, the racist, transphobic, bigot, workshop abuser, wife beater, pedophile, hard alt-right neo-Nazi, whatever else they've called me, right? They're running out of labels at this point because people on Twitter screech about me being all of these things all at the same time. Therefore, other YouTubers cannot be seen with me. Fatphobic is another one. All these other YouTubers can't be seen being friendly with me, lest the mentally ill on Twitter paint them as, you know, these things as well. That's why people keep me at arm's length and are more than happy to you know, acknowledge me when it benefits them. But beyond that, they won't associate with me. obviously none of these things being true. It's just people who are angry at me for, like, quoting the Eric Andre show in 2017. Or was it 2016? I don't remember. I tweeted a quote from the Eric Andre show, the episode with Lance Reddick, and I typed the N-word with the soft A in a tweet. And because of that, now a shitload of people think I'm racist. Like, I don't understand how mentally ill you have to be to think like that, or, like, behave that way. It's absolute insanity. It's a fucking Eric Andre quote. God, it's funny. Don't think the negative reviews can go below a certain percent because bots won't review the game. Oh, no, I think you could get a majority of the recent reviews down pretty far. Into a significant majority. Can you quote it now? No, I can't, because YouTube will age restrict my video. And then there will be a whole new cancellation wave of Zesty Jesus quoted the Eric Andre show and said the N-word with a soft A? Oh, he condones violence against minorities! And then people would just fucking unleash and go crazy. And so, no, obviously I cannot quote the Eric Andre show again. No, yeah, if you can get 200,000 signatures, you can get 200,000 downvotes on Steam. I completely agree. Surprisingly, that hasn't happened yet. You'll have to ask Mega Scatterbomb that. I don't know if his program is public yet. I don't think it is. Pretty sure it's not. Just came to the stream. Has anything interesting happened? We've been live for 2 hours and 44 minutes and 55 seconds. You missed a lot. Just gotta say. Thankfully, VODs exist. Please delete your Twitter. I don't use it. I use it pretty much just to retweet commissions. Or tweet commissions I get. And every now and again mention something about TF2. Otherwise, I don't touch Twitter with a 99.5-foot pole. I don't fucking touch it. Twitter is a miserable place. TF2 has more negative reviews than and the message is gone. Can't read it. Funny, Big B. See, I guess we got a really good goofy TF2 player. What is this fucking weird, like, lovers quarrel going on in my chat? It's very interesting to watch this unfold. Is Twitter worse than Reddit? I think they're equally as bad. They're equally as bad. Like, but both are just miserable places to be in, and I don't know why people use them. Echo, what are you doing? My cat is here. Echo, hey, you're chewing a plastic bag. Stop it. Plastic is not good for you. What are you doing? Do you think we'll reach Overwatch levels of negative reviews? I mean, we have 200,000 people willing to sign a petition. It can't be that hard to go downvote it. Assuming all of them are real signatures, there's probably a non-zero volume of the signatures on there that are bots. Wouldn't surprise me. But there's definitely more people that have signed it than have downvoted the game on Steam. And those people should go downvote it. If you have not done that already, I encourage you to do that. I recommend that you do so. 100%. Oh god, my fucking... Everything about my Discord is freaking out right now. Everything's broken. Hello? Alright, we're back. Would you say that the existence of Twitter shows how many normal people are becoming... How many... Would you say the existence of Twitter shows how many people are becoming softer? Not saying because soft is bad, but when it's people who can't even take a joke or not understand a reference. No, Twitter represents a very small sliver of humanity. It represents primarily terminally online people that do not reflect how most normal people behave. So you should not take how people are behaving on Twitter. Don't take how people are behaving on Twitter and assume that's a reflection of reality, because it's simply not. If you were placed in the same room as these people, they would not know how to hold a conversation. They would not know how to function. They would not know how to behave normally around other people. They exist entirely online, and their existences are defined by the internet. So don't place any stock in what people on Twitter have to say. Well, so the thing about bots malfunctioning is they don't have enough memory to share between them, because most of the guys who host bots do so on their local hardware, and if you run too many of them, they start to lag, and they can't, you know, be 100% accurate all the time. So there's not enough resources to run them, so they kind of freak out and glitch out. So they just have to run like 1 or 2 fewer bots, and then the problem is solved. What do you think about the idea of bringing signatures from fixed TF2 petition to Valve's offices? Would that even be possible? Yeah. They have a physical address. You can just show up and hand the secretary or the clerk at the front desk, here you go. Here's a package for you. You can mail a physical letter to Valve right now. It's not like they're this amorphous, ethereal entity. There is a physical location of their offices. So yeah, they can very easily bring them a stack of papers with names printed on them. What is happening with every? Let me try clicking off this tab, and then bringing it back. Oh, the lag! Oh, the lag. Okay, please. Are we back? Oh, there we go. Finally, everything updated. Jesus. If fixed TF2 is being spearheaded by you, it would probably work, except maybe not, because people will get upset over a trans comment to a cheater and a reference. Yeah, you're probably right. I am too controversial of a figure to spearhead anything inside of the TF2 sphere. Simply because the vocal minority would derail everything. Thoughts on doxing the bot hosters? Don't stoop to their level, but it is kind of surprising to me that it took this long for everyone, not everyone, but for the TF2 sphere, for many people in the TF2 sphere to be anything other than complacent with their presence. Like, I don't understand why more people haven't been aggressive towards them, right? Like, I understand not giving them attention, that's what they want, but like, going out of their way to like report their profiles and try to make their lives a living hell too, in ways that won't give them attention publicly, right? Surprised that that's not been more commonplace. So, yeah, and also like doxing them isn't going to do anything. It's I don't know, screaming. It's like screaming into a well. Anyways, I don't know. I got nothing else, so I think I'm gonna call it there. So, thanks for hanging out, guys. I still recommend that everyone do their part. If you've not signed the petition, sign it. I think everyone should. On the off chance that it does actually do something, the more signatures, the better. Do that. Go leave a negative review on Steam. I recommend that everyone do that as well. It's bringing the problem to Valve's doorstep. It is one of the more tangible things you can do. So go downvote the game on Steam, and stop giving Valve your money. They don't care what you have to say. They will not look at anything on social media. The only thing that is tangible to them is this. Don't give them your money. If you are dissatisfied with the product, do not support the product. It is that simple, and I will keep restating that as many times as I need to. So, thanks for hanging out, guys. It was fun. Thanks for all the donations. You've all been very kind. Go play on my TF2 server. Get that shit populated, so if there's enough of a demand, I can make a European one. And satisfy that desire, too. So, Take care, guys. I'll see y'all later.